Hey guys, tonight we're not setting sail for the roughest waters history has to offer. There will be no pirates arguing over stolen coconuts, no rum-soaked captains with questionable hygiene, and no treasure maps written by someone who clearly failed art class. Tonight, we're traveling somewhere deeper, quieter, closer to the heart. Tonight, we're stepping into the hidden meaning behind your struggles and why Allah tests the ones He loves most. But before we begin, take a second to like the video and subscribe, but only if you genuinely find comfort and value in these calm, reflective journeys. And leave a comment telling me where you're listening from and what time it is right now. Somehow, it's always 2 a.m. somewhere, and 2 a.m. is the hour when questions become louder, hearts grow softer, and the soul finally whispers what it hid all day. Now dim the lights. Switch on a fan for that soft, steady hum. Get comfortable, settle your breathing, and maybe tuck your feet under the blanket. Not because rats are involved tonight, but because warmth helps faith settle deeper. Let's pause. Have you ever wondered why hardship finds you precisely when you're trying your best? Why prayers sometimes feel unanswered? Why burdens come in waves just when you thought you were finally standing? Tonight, we'll walk through stories of prophets and believers who carried mountains of trial, yet were closest to God. We'll explore what patience really means, why divine silence is not neglect, and how pain can polish the heart the way fire purifies gold. We move gently, like walking through a quiet night after rain. We reflect deeply, not to fear the struggle, but to understand its purpose. So breathe. Let the world slow. Tonight, you may find that your burden was never a punishment, but a bridge leading you closer to Allah. Now let's begin. Chapter 1. Before Everything Changed. Twilight settles over the ancient city of Mecca, stretching long shadows across the desert sand. The light is neither day nor night, a fragile in-between where the world holds its breath. The mountains surrounding the city glow faintly with the last touch of sun, while the narrow streets grow dim, lanterns flickering softly against stone walls smoothed by generations. The air feels heavy tonight, not with heat, though the day was warm, but with something unseen, a quiet tension, a sense that the world is on the edge of something vast and irreversible. It is the kind of stillness that comes before rain, or before revelation, or before history itself changes direction. In the distance, the Kaaba stands firm, simple, silent, witness to centuries of footsteps, trade, worship, ignorance, and yearning. It has seen tribes clash and reconcile, merchants pass through seeking fortune, poets rise and fall like waves in the desert wind. Yet, even this sacred structure seems to wait, like a heart stilling before a new beat. All around the city, life continues as it always has. Merchants close their stalls. Travelers prepare for night. Children hurry home before darkness claims the streets. But beneath routine lies something deeper. As twilight fades, the atmosphere thickens with possibility, the kind felt only when Allah is preparing a transformation that no one can yet see. Makkah has known struggle. Its people know hunger, drought, conflict. Life here is demanding, shaped by harsh landscapes, scarce water, and long journeys under burning sun. Hardship is familiar, woven into every grain of sand. But tonight, struggle feels like soil being turned, as if hearts are being prepared for seeds they cannot yet imagine. And this is where the hidden meaning of tests begins. Pain does not always signal rejection. Hardship is not a sign of distance. Sometimes Allah tightens the world around a person or a city, not to break them, but to strengthen their core, to empty hands so they may receive something greater, to soften hearts so truth can take root. As night deepens, shadows stretch further across the desert, long fingers of darkness reaching toward the city gates. The sky darkens slowly, planet by planet, star by star, until the heavens shimmer like a river of light overhead. The people of Mecca continue unaware that within this stillness, a preparation is unfolding, a divine shaping from the inside out. Tests arrive quietly before greatness. The desert teaches endurance. Hunger teaches gratitude. Loneliness teaches sincerity. And silence, divine silence, teaches the heart how to listen. Allah molds souls through trial, polishing them through difficulty, like stone becoming smooth beneath flowing water. Sometimes we do not understand while inside it, just as Mecca did not understand this night. But struggle is often the corridor leading to mercy, the bridge crossed before guidance descends. A person being tested is not forgotten, they are being readied. When Allah loves someone, He refines them. He purifies what holds them back. He removes attachments one by one until the heart learns reliance not on comfort, but on Him. The wind shifts gently, carrying desert sand across the ground in soft spirals. The city does not know that soon a man will rise from its very heart, chosen, tested, refined in solitude, bringing light that will spread beyond tribes, beyond centuries, beyond continents. Mecca is quiet, but this silence is not empty. It is anticipation, the moment right before the soul understands why it suffered. Twilight fades, darkness settles fully. Yet darkness here is not defeat. It is the stage upon which revelation will shine. And every hardship endured, every tear shed, every test faced will soon reveal its hidden meaning. For when Allah prepares change, He begins with struggle. Not to break, but to build. Not to push away, but to draw near. Not to punish, but to elevate. The city sleeps beneath the stars, unaware of how close dawn is. And so do we, until Allah shows us why He tested us, and why it was love the whole time. Chapter 2. Your Heart in Humble Submission. Salam alaikum, dear dreamers and seekers of solace. Picture this. You've just entered a grand, bustling bazaar in Mecca, but instead of the usual commotion of merchants hawking spices and fruits, everything around you turns eerily quiet. In the stillness, your eyes find an unexpected sight. A solitary figure prostrating on the ground, forehead pressed against the earth. It's more serene than the calm after a family argument over dinner. This is where we dive deeper tonight, into a moment that feels both timeless and poignant, like your grandma's favorite woolen sweater you can't quite throw away. The year is somewhere between 620 and 622 CE, a time hotter than your cousin Ahmed's spicy curry. The late Meccan period finds us in a society full of undulating whispers and the electric tension of change, where faith wrestles with doubt like a kitten fighting its shadow. People are embracing a new belief brought forth by a humble prophet who had been revealing God's words for years. Now, imagine standing next to the prostrating figure, feeling the ground beneath you, a canvas of simplicity, longing, and unwavering submission to Allah. Is he worried about the price of dates? Does he think about whether he left the oven on back home? Or perhaps he's just trying to figure out why his neighbor's goat always chooses to graze in his front yard. You chuckle to yourself at the absurdity of it all, but then you realize this isn't just humor. It's something profound. This person, on that bare ground, fears no one but his Creator, showing a strength deeper than the roots of the oldest palm tree. Let's take a moment to pace ourselves. Imagine the soft sounds around this individual, the melodies of the market transforming into a symphony of silence as he bows down. How do you think such humility feels? It's likely richer than a decadent piece of baklava oozing with honey. When life throws challenges your way, what do? Do you crumble like a cookie in milk, or rise up like a wave crashing onto the shore? In that introspective moment, it strikes you. the hidden meanings behind our struggles often emerge from the very depths of humility we observe. Like that time you struggled to assemble IKEA furniture, yet somewhere amidst the chaos, rivet here, screw there, a beautiful piece of art emerged. The same can be said for your heart during challenges. Each trial, each placement, is refining you under Allah's care. Now, imagine our figure on the ground, devoid of hesitation and anxiety, drawing strength from his humble act, much like a balloon finding its way towards the sky. He embodies submission, letting go of the weight of the world around him, and in doing so, he cultivates a profound relationship with Allah. If moments were measured in grains of sand, this one would stack up high against your worries. What if I told you these humble moments are akin to gentle nudges from Allah? Every challenge you encounter might be a gesture, perhaps even a joke. A divine reminder, fear not, for I will test you only as much as you can bear. You start to chuckle again. Imagine a cosmic game of hide and seek where Allah has hid strength and wisdom in your struggles. You're left wondering if your challenges were lovingly placed there to help you grow, like a father putting training wheels on a child's bike before the big ride. As your mind drifts gently through this landscape of thought, you begin to ponder, could it be that each struggle laid at your feet is an invitation to prostrate, metaphorically or literally, aligning your heart with the universe? Each hardship, like a pesky mosquito buzzing near your ear, nudges you to remember your source of strength, the very essence of faith. The believer showcases a resilience that says, no matter how many misfortunes orbit around me, my heart belongs to Allah. You begin to realize this phenomenon transcends centuries. From Makkah to your living room, trust and faith link every soul in search of solace. The prostrated figure embodies patience, hope, and strength, urging us all to bow our heads in humility, surrendering not just to Allah, but to the reality of being human. As night blankets over you, the sheer spirit of that moment washes over like waves of calm. Imagine closing your eyes, feeling warmth enveloping you like a snug blanket as the shadows dance, and all you hear is the soft rustle of wind. Each breath you take reminds you that struggles, no matter how burdensome, are not just trials, but gateways. Gateways leading you back to that moment of submission, reflection, and, ultimately, peace. Wouldn't it be wondrous to cherish these moments, to embrace the weight of your struggles and transform them into gifts? Each step in that humble prostration has shown you a facet of faith, strength, love, forgiveness, and resilience. So, the next time life gets a bit too hot for your comfort, like Aunt Fatima's famous miris masala, remember that it's in acknowledging your struggles and finding joy in your submission that you blossom the most. You fade into a cocoon of dreams, knowing that tomorrow, each challenge offers a chance to deepen your bond with Allah and find joy in your surrender. Sleep well, dear friend. Let the stories of those who walked this earth before you nurture your soul and carry you into the realm of beautiful dreams. If tonight's historical journey through the heart of faith resonates with you, do take a moment to like, subscribe, and comment, only if you truly appreciated our adventure into the past. Until we meet again under the crescent moon, may your dreams be sweet and your mornings gentle. Good night. Chapter 3. The Calm in the Storm. Salam alaikum, dear friends. Tonight, we're diving into a chapter colder than a winter's night and just as crisp, the late Makkan period, specifically the years 620 to 622 CE. Imagine the scene, an alleyway in Makkah, narrower than your Aunt Fatima's patience during Eid preparations. Among the dusty stones and gentle whispers of history, we find a group of men with expressions so hostile they'd make a cactus seem cuddly. Surrounding a single believer, let's call him Bilal, who stands as calm and resolute as a cat perched atop a fence post during a dog parade. Now, before we drift into this serene yet quirkily hostile scene, Don't forget to hit that like button, subscribe, or even comment your favorite struggle with family gatherings. Because, nothing says I love you quite like a squabble over who gets the last piece of baklava. But only if you actually enjoy this. No pressure. So, grab a cozy blanket, dim those lights, and let's embark on this journey back in time. Ever wondered what it felt like to be the only one in the room who didn't get the memo about the latest gossip? Or how it must have felt when your whole family decided to play Spot the Believer in a tense, unwelcoming setting? Grab your pillows, for we are going to settle in for a real historical tale of social struggle that'll put your Netflix binge to shame. Now, breathe deep and picture it. You've just woken up in 620 CE, Makkah. The sun is beating down like it has a personal vendetta against you, and there's a sturdy group of men blocking your path, more imposing than your in-laws the moment you suggest a different dish for iftar. The tension is palpable, as if the very air is charged with electricity and your neighbor's cat just knocked over a vase. Your heart beats faster, and you realize Bilal, our fearless hero, is standing in the middle of this charged atmosphere, serenely sipping the proverbial tea. Figuratively, of course. These men, faces twisted in anger, seem to have formed a circular debate club of sorts. But instead of polite discourse, the topic seems to involve the single poor believer who has, undoubtedly, been labeled the outcast. The ringleader looks strikingly like he's just come from a very intense game of who can scowl the longest. He's not just strutting his stuff, he's practically flaunting it. In Mecca's streets, the hustle and bustle of daily business fades into the background, replaced by the heavy silence hanging around like an overzealous family member who insists on giving unsolicited advice. There's a tangible animosity. It's as if the very stones beneath Bilal's sandals are holding their breath. Yet, he stands firm. You imagine the thoughts racing through his mind. Does he wish he could just pull out the ultimate mic drop moment and dazzle them with dazzling verses from the Quran? Or is he more like, how is it that I'm the problem when you're all acting like cartoons in a puppy fight? Silence envelops the alleyway, broken only by the quiet buzz of an unseen insect, as if the universe itself is watching this moment unfold. You can almost hear one of the men, a burly fellow with arms that could put an oak tree to shame, snarling, "What makes you think you can tell us how to live our lives?" Ah, yes, the classic defensive line. We've all heard similar things in our own lives, haven't we? Like that time your cousin berated you for suggesting a no white rice policy at family functions. Some struggles, it seems, are timeless. But Bilal, unfazed as a cat stretching in the sunny spot on the floor, raises his chin defiantly, his composure drawing admiration even from some of the onlookers. His voice, steady like a seasoned teacher, breaks through the tension. "I do not bring you anything but the truth. It is not I who am deceived. It is you who shut your eyes to the light." At this point, you may even chuckle softly. It's not just a test of faith. It's a classic underdog moment worthy of a film adaptation. Imagine the soundtrack rising as Bilal, this single believer surrounded by a mob, channels his inner superhero. No cape necessary, just pure conviction. Because let's face it, nothing gets the heart racing like the combination of stubbornness and righteousness. Each contemptuous glare thrown at him only seems to solidify his resolve, as if he were made of steel rather than flesh. These men, while conceited, don't realize they are, in fact, the unwitting protagonists of their own misunderstandings, not unlike those daytime soap operas where everyone is always mad at each other for reasons that are never really clear. The adrenaline flows like a river through Bilal's veins. With every heartbeat, he feels the weight of an entire ummah resting on his shoulders, far heavier than any gym bag crammed with protein bars and dreams of six-pack abs. But amidst this brewing conflict, you realize, suddenly and profoundly, that every struggle carries a hidden purpose. As if wrapped in a warm blanket on a cool night, you're reminded that indeed, Allah tests those He loves most. Bilal's demeanor, calm and collected against the storm, speaks resilience. And then you wonder, what about the next time you're confronted with hostility? How can you channel your inner Bilal? Perhaps change the narrative. Make it a teaching moment rather than a quarrel. It humors you to think how every struggle, when viewed from the right angle, tends to feel a bit silly, doesn't it? Like trying to beat your own record in a potato sack race. So serious, but really, it's just a bag. As Bilal faces his adversaries, he understands that his struggles are not the essence of his being, but merely tools for refining his faith and character. The irony here doesn't escape you. All this tension surrounding him is crafting a stronger believer, much like iron tempered in the fire. And so it goes. As the sun begins to set, casting a golden hue over the alleyway, you see both sides, Bilal, the calm believer, and the harsh crowds. The scene transforms. The story continues, layered with complexities as you nestle into sleep, hope, and dreams of resilience. In the quiet after the storm, we find comfort. Remember, dear listener, the struggles we perceive often conceal beautiful layers of wisdom just waiting to be unraveled. Embrace them, for they are indeed the threads of our tapestry. As you find yourself drifting off to sleep, hold tight to this thought. Like Bilal, you too can find strength during adversity. And with that, sweet dreams, dear friends, until we meet again. Chapter 4. Light in the Shadows. Salam alaikum, dear friends. Tonight we embark on a tale more illuminating than 1,000 lanterns flickering under a starry night, an exploration of the hidden meanings behind the trials that shape our lives. Picture yourself in 621 CE, Mecca, a city bustling with traders, merchants, and a little drama that would put the best reality shows to shame. Imagine the challenges faced by our beloved Prophet Muhammad, peace be upon him, and his companions during this tumultuous time. Did you ever wonder how on earth they managed to stay hopeful, with waves of adversity crashing down like a toddler losing their ice cream cone? Seriously, how did they navigate ostracism from their own families? Or what do you think they whispered when praying in secret, hoping no one would hear them beseeching for a miracle, while dodging the saltiest of insults? So, grab your pillows and turn down the lights. Let's slip right into the fabric of history and explore how hope can flicker like a candle, even in the darkest of times. Congratulations, you've just awakened to Mecca, where everyone's struggles feel like an exclusive sport, and you might just be the newest player on the field. In a small, dimly lit room, the air thick with tension, the scent of burnt incense lying lazily in the corners, you find a circle of companions huddled together, as if sharing secrets that could rival the latest gossip. The speaker, a kind soul with a beard that looks like it could house a family of birds, sits before you, his eyes glimmering with hope and the weight of faith. The companions around him are more diverse than an iftar buffet. Some look as comfortable as a cat in a sunbeam, while others shift nervously, glancing around as if waiting for a particularly boisterous uncle to crash the party. "Brothers," the speaker begins, his voice dripping with warmth, "tonight we delve into how Allah tests those He loves most." You can almost hear the collective sigh of relief, mixed with that dash of trepidation. It's like someone just promised cake, but reminded everyone it was a calorie-free diet journey. The walls echo with whispers of shared struggles, tales that drift between humor and heartbreak. You find it oddly comforting. Isn't it true in your own life that the hardest moments often reveal the funniest anecdotes later on? Like that time Cousin Ali tried to impress everyone with his flour-covered hands while making bread, only to discover he was actually kneading a stray cat's tail? In this circle, each companion seems to carry their own litany of challenges, some as heavy as a boulder dropped on your foot, and others lighter than a feather. There's Fatima, who's wrestling with the looks of disapproval from her relatives, as unyielding as a stone tablet. Then there's Ibrahim, whose dreams are shattered like an overripe watermelon after a bad throw at a picnic. And wrapped around them like a warm shawl is Bilal, steady as ever, our unsung hero, unfazed by the chaos swirling around him. Listen, dear friends, the speaker says, drawing you in. When we stand united in faith, each struggle molds us like a potter shaping clay. Remember, Allah tests us not to break us, but to elevate us. As you soak in His words, you feel as if a warm breeze has enveloped you, scented with jasmine and hope. And there it is, the light in the shadows. This simple truth creates an electric energy in the room, reverberating through the hearts like the strings of a well-tuned sitar. You close your eyes for a moment, allowing the warmth to wash over you, feeling oddly blessed amid the heavy weight of adversity. You think about those familiar feelings of despair that creep up on us nowadays, especially when the Wi-Fi drops while you're watching your favorite show. The laughter around you suggests that everyone shares this delightful human experience, echoing the sentiment that even in hardship, joy and camaraderie can bloom. Now, my dear friends, the speaker winks. Let's consider Bilal here, standing firm against those who would scorn him. Doesn't he remind you of that one friend who'll always show up to your birthday party, even when no one else does? You know, the one who brings the last piece of chocolate cake, claiming it's just a share. But we all know it's for them. Laughter erupts around you, easing the tension, weaving the unease into threads of connection. Bilal serves as a reminder that the quiet strength found in struggle births companionship amidst trials. His voice continues to resonate, tales of challenges faced by each companion peppered with revelations of deep inner growth, much like finding a forgotten $20 bill in your jacket pocket. Unexpected joy at the perfect moment. And just like that, through the light-hearted banter, you find the truth resting within the folds of history. Allah does indeed test those He loves most. Perhaps it's not just about getting knocked down, but rising, much like the bread that rises best when kneaded well. You giggle softly. Did someone just drop a baking pun in the mix? The atmosphere in the room shifts from intense struggles to lighter horizons. Each story transforms into a thread of hope, a shared reminder that every struggle is a brushstroke in the larger canvas of your faith journey. And so, while you wait to pick your battles, you carry forward the essence of the companions who dared to break free from the norms. As your eyes grow heavier, lulled by the rhythm of their stories, you drift comfortably, allowing the golden wisdom gleaned from this circle of steadfast believers to accompany you into the night. Remember, the speaker's voice echoes softly on the wind, laced with gentle humor. It's your heart, even more than your struggles, that defines your journey. With that, you feel the warmth around you wrap you in comfort, a heartfelt embrace, reminding you that every challenge, every struggle, is a step towards light in the shadows, towards an understanding of your own resilience, purpose, and inner strength. As you close your eyes, the words linger, gently whispering of hope and humor through trials, filling your dreams with resilience and love. Until next time, dear friends. Chapter 5. The Call of the Desert. Salam alaikum, dear friends. Welcome back, and grab your favorite cozy blanket because tonight we're diving into a story that's as epic as a 3-hour family road trip, but with a bit less bickering in the back seat and a lot more sand. Picture this. It's 621 CE, and you've just stumbled upon a moment in history that feels more like an intense desert expedition than a walk down memory lane. Ever wondered how your daily struggles are like a camel in a sandstorm? Or why sometimes you feel like you're wandering in circles, parched for answers, while that one friend always seems to have their life perfectly cycled, as smooth as their acai bowl combination? You know the one, who even taught them how to blend those berries perfectly. Well, tonight, roll up those sleeves and prepare your minds as we uncover the hidden meanings behind our challenges and how Allah tests those He loves the most. But before we embark on this journey, like a desert trader scouting for water, take a moment to dim the lights, put on a fan, and find a comfy spot. Maybe grab a glass of water too. Stay hydrated. Now, have you ever thought about how profound it is that we sometimes need a GPS to get around in our own neighborhoods, yet our forebears managed to cross vast desert landscapes without any tech help? How did they keep track of each other? Did they shout, "Hey, I'm over here," like we do when we lose our friends in a crowded bazaar? Did they have secret hand signals? Or perhaps, did they just toss pebbles in the air for dramatic effect? Congratulations! You've just awakened in 621 CE, perched high on a cliff like an ancient eagle overlooking the sprawling desert of Mecca, as if you just invented the best view in the house. No cover charge required. As you stand there, sand swirling at your feet, the sun kisses the horizon goodnight, setting ablaze the sky with colors that could inspire any painter. You feel a gentle breeze brushing past you, whispering secrets of a time where every grain of sand holds a story waiting to be unveiled. Now, imagine being in the Prophet Muhammad's, peace be upon him, shoes, peering out at the vast expanse of desert, a curious feeling tugging at your heart. You think to yourself, is it me, or is this desert infinitely huge? What if I wander off like a lost sheep in a grocery store? The world around you is quiet, and yet it's filled with the quiet hum of divine intention. As you embrace the moment, the realization dawns on you. Every struggle, every challenge you or the prophet faced is but a mere stepping stone leading to something much greater. You breathe in deeply, like a seasoned traveler who knows that each test is a metaphorical climb, bringing you closer to your destination, whatever that may be. Your surroundings echo with the memories of those who walked before you. They didn't have phones to check the nearest Travelocity or Airbnb. Instead, like some glorified game of chess, their moves were calculated against a backdrop of faith, perseverance, and divine guidance. Suddenly, a lizard scuttles nearby, almost as if nature itself is providing comic relief to this heavy moment. You chuckle softly, realizing that even the lizard must have its own peculiar challenges, like dodging that hawk that seems to have way too much confidence soaring above. Transitioning from your light-hearted moment back into the depths of reality, you feel drawn to contemplate how Allah tests those He loves. Perhaps the trials are like the layers of a perfectly baked baklava, sweet, sticky, and confessing a unity of flavors, each struggle contributing to the grandeur of the final masterpiece that is you. Isn't it curious how the journey, often littered with bumps and missteps, is meant to teach you something? You visualize the companions surrounding the prophet, standing by each other as steadfast as an old, well-loved rug. Were comrades in testing times, silent but supportive, each having faced their own unique trials. Like competing in a reality show with no prize money. Fatima, the backbone of resilience, exudes strength against the winds of societal norms. And there's Bilal, his unwavering call to prayer ringing through the air like the sweetest melody. Even he must have had moments of doubt, like standing on an ice rink for the first time, wondering whether to hold on to the wall or let go and glide. But with every challenge came growth. It's a journey of sacred elevation. As the sun dips lower, you feel an overwhelming sense of community. The solitude of the cliff transforms into a shared bond of experiences and hardships. Their laughter rings in your ears, a soft reminder that in their trials, laughter bloomed, much like a sudden wildflower amidst a sea of sand. You realize that your struggles today, whether it's finding work-life balance or dealing with family drama, are not quite so different from theirs. Just as they navigated the rumors and scorn like a persistent desert flower seeking sunlight, you too have your own battles, reminding you that trials are blessings in disguise, the kind that shape you into the best version of yourself. In this shared endeavor of life, every tear shed under the stars, or joyous moment recounted amongst friends, is part of the human experience. You see how akin you are to those who traversed these very sands, feeling a connection generations wide, reminding you that each soul's journey is intricately woven into the tapestry of time. With that thought nestled in your heart, You take one last look at the breathtaking horizon. The desert whispers its evening song, and with every beat reflects back the depth of human resilience and faith. As you slowly drift into slumber, let the realization flow over you like a soft blanket of night. Know that each trial in life prepares you for something greater, weaving humor, strength, and unity into the very fabric of your being. Remember, dear friends, that every challenge is but a test of love. Until next time. Chapter 6. The Ark of Assurance. Salam alaikum, dear friends. How's everyone doing tonight? I hope you're cozied up in your favorite blanket, maybe even wrapped tighter than your auntie's embrace at family gatherings. Tonight, we're setting off on an adventure more bewildering than trying to find matching socks in an overflowing laundry basket. Picture this: a wooden ark, a sea of desert, and a group of skeptics pondering their life choices while snickering like a gaggle of geese at a picnic. Now, why is there an ancient wooden ark on dry earth? Was it built as a fancy storage container for camels, or perhaps the world's first eco-friendly art exhibit? Well, my friends, let's dive into 621 CE, during the late Makkan period, a time when the Prophet Muhammad, peace be upon him, was facing challenges that would make your annoying neighbor's complaints seem like a gentle breeze. But before we plunge into this delightful tale, let me ask you a few soul-searching questions. Have you ever wondered what kind of face-to-face conversations people had back in those days? Did they ever sagely nod while someone coughed dramatically, trying to get others' attention? Did they have the same eye twinkles when sharing happy yet awkward encounters? Perhaps they exclaimed, "Excuse me, my sandals are more comfortable than your puns." Or maybe whispered, "How much sand is too much sand for a good night's sleep?" Tonight, my dear listeners, you're not just cooling your heels on a couch, you're stepping into the sandy shoes of the 7th century, just before history takes a dramatic turn. Congratulations! You've just awakened to find yourself in 621 CE, peering at a dry landscape in Mecca, where the sun bakes the ground like a flatbread on a scorching day. Imagine standing next to an impressive wooden ark, its grains polished by the wind, a sight that looks less like it's going to float on water and more like it might just sprout a pair of wheels and start rolling away. Around you, a group of skeptics gawk like they just accidentally wandered into a cooking contest without bringing any ingredients. They chuckle, whisper, and elbow each other as if they're part of an exclusive club of professional eye rollers. They're skeptical, thinking, "Look at this guy, building an ark in the middle of a desert? What's next? A pool party without a pool?" You can practically hear the mutters of disbelief hanging in the dry air like an unwelcome guest at a dinner table. What does he think? That it'll rain here? The laughter echoes around you like a playful breeze. As you stand beside the ark, with its beautifully aged wooden frame contrasting with the golden sands, you realize that this structure is more than just an oddity. It symbolizes a divine command, as clear as instructions on how to operate a traditional fire oven. Yes, folks, a departure is upon them, something that others cannot yet comprehend, a call to prepare for what lies ahead. Picture this moment, you staring at the ark, facing not just physical barriers, but humbling metaphysical ones. Ever thought about how sand gets everywhere? Like those pesky crumbs in your car that never seem to disappear? Challenges, my dear friends, are often the universe's way of refining our characters. Just as our forefathers refined their skills in the harsh desert, sometimes we need those trials to help us grow. Suddenly, there's a whisper that rustles through the crowd. You can't see it, but you can feel faith and hope intertwining like an intricate tapestry. The ark, despite its strange appearance, serves as a gentle reminder that great plans often begin in the simplest of ways. It's a metaphorical hug from Allah. "Hey, don't worry, I've got this." Then, just as the static tension begins shifting towards intrigue, a child from the crowd bursts out. "When do we get to have a ride on this monster?" The laughter is infectious, breaking the heavy atmosphere. There's something humorous about the fact that a wall of skepticism can crumble so beautifully under the charm of a child's innocent query. Just like the fridge door can fall open at awkward moments when you're searching for midnight snacks. Amid this banter, you begin to see the deeper meanings behind struggles and divine tests. It dawns on you that even the prophet encountered scoffs, derision, and hurdles, yet he never wavered. Just as you navigate through life's challenges, like arguing with GPS when it feels wrong, so did he endure trials that paved the path toward the guidance we hold dear today. Think back on your own life. Aren't there moments where we chew on the bitterness of trials, feeling halfway between a thorn bush and a pile of soft, fluffy pillows? Every difficulty seems to be pointing us towards something greater, reminding us there's beauty in our journey, much like the dry desert reminds us that lush gardens come with their own goddess of patience. So, as the ark stands tall against the backdrop of laughter, skepticism, and uncertainty, remember this. Trials are like the spices in your favorite dish, bringing out rich flavors you didn't even know existed. They're challenges, yes, but they're also stepping stones guiding you toward growth, as nurturing as a mother's embrace when she sees her child become wiser through their missteps. You tune back into the conversation overflowing with laughter, skepticism transforming into awe. The crowd begins to ponder the meaning of the ark, realizing that sometimes preparation is unseen, a reminder that the struggles faced today are, in fact, guiding them toward a miraculous tomorrow. With one last look at the wooden ark, let the realization wash over you like a gentle breeze, and remind yourself that every struggle faced is essentially a testament of love from Allah, preparing you for what's to come, much like how these early believers were being prepared for change. As the night gradually envelops you, let that weighty realization settle in and drift off to sleep knowing that through every trial, you are being lovingly tested to elevate your soul. Salam. Chapter 7. Trials and Triumphs in the Courtyard of Faith. Salam alaikum, dear friends. Are you all snuggled up comfortably like a kitten in a sunbeam? Perfect. Tonight, we're stepping into a time as warm as freshly baked bread, and just as yeasty. Welcome to 620 CE in Makkah, right at the heart of one of history's more challenging moments. If your mind has ever wandered to epic family dramas or conspiracy theories among distant relatives, you're in for a treat. Imagine a scene so dramatic, it makes soap operas look like bedtime stories. A group of diverse individuals gathered in a quiet courtyard, their expressions mirroring a mix of deep determination and bewilderment, like first-time cooks staring at a recipe with more words than they expected. You might wonder, what were their worries? Were they debating whether to add raisins to the date bread, pondering the longevity of their sandals, or concerned about the weather ruining their desert picnic plans? Tonight, as we venture into this fascinating period of trials and early faith, I invite you to turn down the lights, crank up that fan for a refreshing breeze, and settle down as we unearth some hidden meanings, like the questionable leftovers at a potluck. Picture yourself now, feeling the coarse texture of sun-baked earth beneath your feet, as you take a moment to compose yourself for what's to come. You've just woken up in a Mecca courtyard in 620 CE, where the sun shines brighter than your neighbor's shiny new car. But who even needs cars when you have the majesty of a desert? Have you ever thought about what a group of people preparing for difficult days might talk about? Silly conversations that shift from hopes of finding the best olive oil to worries about raindrops turning into a full-blown storm, literally and metaphorically? Did ancient folks roll their eyes at someone sneezing or sniffing too loudly at the worst possible moment, rather like how we react to unexpected interruptions in our Zoom meetings? Or maybe they argued over the last piece of bread as if it were the final slice of happiness in the galaxy. As you reflect on these quizzical inquiries, a sudden realization washes over you. The courtyard, with its rough stone and sandy edges, breathes more than just the arid air. Here gathered are men, women, children of all ages, seeking strength in the throes of adversity, like little birds trying to remember how to fly during windstorms. They know change is coming, and it's about as welcomed as an unexpected knock at midnight. In the center of this courtyard, the warmth of voices rises and falls like waves on the shore. Every moment is tinged with anticipation, like the feeling you might have on the brink of discovering whether your favorite TV show will be renewed for another season. Spoiler alert, it won't. Each laugh bounces around, mingling with whispers of hope and fear, building an energy so thick you could slice it knife, or potentially serve it as a side dish. As you take a seat amidst this fervent gathering, you might notice their faces, each telling a story, each representing a struggle. There's that one gentleman with an expression that suggests he's lost a bet, his brows furrowed like a worried hedgehog. Next to him, a group of spirited children, chattering and giggling as if they hold the secrets of the universe, contrasting the seriousness of their surrounding adults, like sprinkles on a cake that's been tasked with delivering solemn news. "Have you heard?" A voice suddenly rises. "The prophet, peace be upon him, is weaving tales that rival even the most imaginative of storytellers." A gentle murmur cascades like a stream through the crowd as they lean in, captivated. Just like how you might lean closer when someone begins dropping gossip during family dinners. Everyone loves a good story. In this sacred space, where legacies are formed, alliances are forged, faith tested, this group, despite their differences, showcases the beauty of humanity coming together. They share their worries, not unlike how we casually mention our workload while sipping coffee in a crowded cafe. Each whisper floats out like a prayer carried on the wind. With every glance, a realization settles in. The trials they face are not just ordinary hardships. No, my friends, these trials are like a splendid cook-off where sometimes you question the recipe, sometimes you burn the bread, but occasionally you create the perfect dish that nourishes the soul. And oh, how divine it feels when you emerge victorious, knowing that each struggle has refined your strength. Suddenly, a soft laughter bursts through the gravity of the moment. A child has made a quip about a goat who took too long at the open market. The crowd erupts into soft giggles, as if to remind everyone that even in the face of trials, joy can spring forth from the most unexpected places. It's almost as if Allah smiles upon this gathering, saying, "Look, my dear creations, even amidst struggle, laughter is the oil that keeps your hearts running smoothly." And it dawns on you. Struggles are not punishments, they are divine tests, tools meant to shape and mold you, much like a potter coaxing a lump of clay into a beautiful vase. This truth courses through you, mingling with the warm breezes and the laughter echoing around you, perfectly timed reminders that life, with all its unpredictability, is lined with divine presence. As you drift in this moment, let it seep into your soul like a soothing balm, allowing your heart to take comfort in the idea that every trial faced provides a glimpse of greater love and wisdom. Just as those early believers were preparing for monumental changes, you too can embrace your challenges, knowing they forge the path to something beautiful waiting on the horizon. So now, with this understanding blooming alongside you, close your eyes gently, for as the stars twinkle above in the Mecca night sky, you are cradled in the knowledge that every struggle faced brings you closer to Allah's embrace. Drift off, dear friends, and let the thoughts and whispers of faith guide you into sweet dreams. Salam. Chapter 8. A Tearful Prayerscape. Salam alaikum, dear friends. Get ready to wrap yourself up in a cozy blanket, because tonight we're diving into a scene more poignant than your neighbor's grandma trying to park her donkey in the narrow alleyways of Makkah. Welcome to the year 620 CE. Imagine a Makkah so full of spiritual tension, it's as if everyone is waiting for their favorite pot to boil over. It's exciting and a tad unnerving, right? Now, let's ask ourselves, Ever felt like the universe threw everything at you but the kitchen sink? What if you were tasked with rewriting the world's moral code while your friends casually debated the best flavors of yogurt? Or picture yourself standing during a family reunion, trapped between an uncle passionately discussing the benefits of camel milk and your aunt quietly whispering tales of ghostly jinns roaming in the desert. Doesn't sound ideal, does it? Tonight's story is a heart-tugging one, filled with tears, longing for divine presence, and the subtle humor of human struggle. So, dim those lights, crank up that fan for a refreshing breeze, though when did the desert ever feel refreshing? And let's settle in. Congratulations! You've just woken up in 620 CE. The air is thick with the scent of roasted dates and a touch of sweat from trying to navigate your way through life's trials. Now, imagine you're sitting alone on a simple prayer mat, the fibers grazing against your palms, your heart feeling as heavy as that backgammon board your neighbor insists on playing even when it's way past sundown. Your face is wet with tears, whether from the sun or anguish, who's to say? The azure sky stretches above, vast and wise, as you look up, seeking a sign from Allah, simply wishing for a hint that everything will work out fine. As you gaze at the heavens, you can almost hear a soft whisper, encouraging you to hold on just a little longer, like your mom used to say when you're waiting for the last slice of cake. But the air is quiet tonight, and it feels almost mocking, like that one friend who never fails to remind you of your questionable taste in sandals. Tears stream down your cheeks, glistening under the starlit canopy, mixing with the grit of the ground you kneel upon. There's something refreshingly human about being vulnerable. Like that time you accidentally posted a meme instead of your theologically heavy scroll on social media. What was I thinking? You wonder, shuddering at the thought. And here you are, feeling the weight of the world more than a pack camel loaded with grains. It's not just the daily struggle, oh no. It's a spiritual battle. You're caught in a tug of war between despair and faith, like deciding whether you should eat that third piece of baklava or save room for a date shake. Who knew life could be so complicated? The Moccans around you bustle about, caught up in their trials too. As you dab your tears with the edge of your worn-out cloak, you see a neighbor trying to bridle an unruly goat, the creature frolicking with joy in an ironic clash against the seriousness of the moment. See? You can almost hear them say in their goatish way, even we know how to have a good time despite paradoxes. Let's take a sidestep here. What if your struggle was like that goat, brimming with energy yet struggling against a tether? Here, the thinking goes, maybe the nudge towards divine connection isn't filled with fancy fireworks or cloud-hopping angles, but rather the simple act of looking upward with hope. Suddenly, you feel the soft rustle of the prayer mat beneath you, grounding you. It whispers, "This too shall pass." The phrase feels as ancient as the sand beneath your feet, yet resonates now, because those who face trials are often the ones Allah loves. Picture this, a journey with unseen trials, the type not found on a treasure map. They give you wisdom, like a riddle that once solved reveals layers of understanding. Like when you figured out that mysterious aunt at the family reunion actually makes the best biryani. It just takes some time to find out. Tonight, you sit in solitude, much like your anxious family at dinner, awaiting the right time to break the awkward silence. As you lean into your prayer mat, a sense of togetherness creeps in. You're not alone in your tears. Those around you, striving for clarity and seeking guidance, are like stars fighting to shine through the clouds. Your heart begins to lighten. Perhaps this struggle is merely a channel to channel your divine connection, much like how each radio station requires tuning to find the perfect frequency. Let the tears flow, for they are testimonies of your journey, tears that water the seeds of resilience planted deep within you. As the evening breeze sweeps across, carrying the scent of dates, that goat bleats again nearby, sending ripples of laughter through your heart. Who knew that spontaneity could share the burden like a good friend, spiking the seriousness of a meeting with an unexpected pun? And with a gentle sigh, you realize that the sky above might seem indifferent, yet every twinkle holds the promise. Your struggles are acknowledged. The path may twist and turn. It may even feel like hopping from stone to stone in a stream. But hidden in these trials is the shimmering potential for growth. So, as you breathe in the night air, let a chuckle emerge from your chest, easing your worries. Maybe Allah gently tests those He loves, showing that, in the end, the struggles aren't meant to break you, but to shape you, like fine pottery molded from raw clay. As your eyes start to flutter, let this truth cradle you to sleep, dear friend. Trials aren't just tribulations. They are but stepping stones on the journey to deeper love and connection with Him. So, drift away under the serene Makkah sky, comforted by the knowledge that you are loved infinitely, and there's so much to discover as you journey through life's trials. Until next time, Salam. Chapter 9. The Golden Chest of Faith. Salam alaikum, dear friends. Tonight, settle in like a cozy cat on a warm windowsill as we embark on a quest that's more golden than the sunniest day in Mecca. Welcome to the year 621 CE, where the weight of faith hangs heavier than your uncle's mismanaged beard oil. Picture this: a society bursting at the seams with moral dilemmas, and there's one man trying to bring forth spiritual clarity, like your auntie slathering a questionable casserole on the potluck table. Now, let's play a quick game of what if. What if you woke up one day with a revelation so profound that everyone you knew started asking why you smelled of incense instead of cheap perfume? Or imagine being in a crowded market, the heat melting your brain like butter on a sunny pancake, when suddenly someone yells, "Look, it's the guy talking about the one true God." How awkward would you feel? Tonight, we're going to unravel a treasure more glittery than the most fab wedding ring in all of Al-Haram. A mystical golden chest resting upon a stone pedestal, symbolizing the immense value of the gift of faith. So dim those lights, crank that fan, but not too high, we don't want to blow off anyone's hijab, and get ready to drift into a time when faith was a heavy yet sparkling jewel, equally burdensome and delightful. Congratulations! You've just woken up in 621 CE, a time where the air is saturated with more tension than a newlywed couple discussing where to set up their flea market booth. Imagine a golden chest perched with elegance on a solid stone pedestal, its gleaming surface catching the flickering candlelight and shining like 1,000 stars. This isn't just any treasure, it symbolizes the extraordinary gift of faith. But oh, what a price the soul must pay. So, let's talk about this chest. Much like our grandma's favorite trunk, which she claims contains the family secrets. You know, the kind that get whispered about when the kids aren't around. While everyone around you is scrambling for material possessions like it's a post-Eid sale at the local market, you sit captivated by this remarkable chest. A chest that has a story to tell deeper than a well in the scorching desert. As the evening sun sets over the Mecca skyline, you lean closer to the chest, inhaling the scent of jasmine mingling with the whispers of time. The resemblance is uncanny, a beautiful but eerie juxtaposition, much like your friend who is always trying to pass off store-bought dessert as homemade. You can almost hear the chest giggling as you try to understand what it means to truly struggle for faith. The people of this era were familiar with struggles. They navigated them daily, like a goat trying to escape a pen. What's so funny about struggle, you might wonder? Well, think of it this way. Remember the time you tried to convince everyone you could win a friendly game of backgammon while secretly hoping the dice gods would smile upon you? That's what it felt like. Life was a game of chance, but faith, that was a choice. You sometimes wonder, why would the Almighty allow us to grapple with inner turmoil and worldly chaos? You can picture a cosmic plan unfolding, a brilliant tapestry woven together with love and patience. But then again, some days it feels less like a tapestry and more like those tangled fairy lights you pull out every holiday season. Infuriating, yet strangely mesmerizing. Your thoughts linger over the golden chest, reflecting the arduous journey that many souls traverse in their quest for spiritual truth. Just like how you anticipate the release of a new series on Netflix, so too do they yearn for guidance and solace. It's almost comical when you think about it. People wandering around like lost sheep in a supermarket, hunting for answers in self-help books or trendy Instagram quotes. Every scratch on that chest tells a story, much like your
friend who bears the scars of failed diets, each punctuated with a tale of struggle that somehow feels relatable. Perhaps tonight, your heart will learn to dance in rhythm with these stories, embracing the weight of your burdens while finding laughter in the journey. As the evening grows darker, you cannot help but notice the contrasting glow of the chest, the glowing representation of faith that demands a hefty price. It beckons you. Heart, are you ready to take on the challenges ahead? And you respond with a hushed, "Well, I've already struggled with 3 traffic jams today. How hard can it be?" You reflect momentarily on your own trials, those moments where you felt the universe was testing you like a grade school math exam. But that you made it through each conundrum, didn't you? Just like our beloved Prophet Muhammad, peace be upon him, while he faced ridicule, pressure, and everything but a pleasant cup of tea. As the stars begin to pierce through the darkened sky, you hear the distant laughter of children, running about like wild goats, carefree yet connected to their soaring faith. Suddenly, the chest doesn't seem so far away anymore. It feels like a warm hug, a reminder that the struggles lead to love, understanding, and a relationship with the divine. Maybe the golden chest holds the answer. You begin to realize that Allah tests those He loves most, not to burden, but to mold, to deepen the relationship and strengthen the heart. The chest is heavy indeed, but isn't that weight a reflection of your journey? Isn't it enriched by laughter and warmth, like a cozy woolen blanket on a chilly night? Now, as your eyelids flutter like the fluttering wings of a butterfly, you embrace the comforting thought that your struggles are not just trials. They are building blocks of faith, sculpting your essence into something divine, something golden. May we all find our golden chests, dear friends, the treasures that call us to faith, while holding space for our laughter amidst life's absurdities. So wrap yourself in the comforting embrace of faith and drift off under the serene Makkah sky, for tomorrow brings another day of hope, challenges, and laughter. Until next time, Salam. Chapter 10. The Hidden Roots Beneath the Storm. Salam alaikum, dear friends. Tonight, we dive deeper than your cousin's secrets about the chaotic storms of his life. Sure, we're all familiar with those metaphorical storms swarming around us, like finding out your favorite grocery store is out of stock for your preferred hummus. But what if those storms actually served a greater purpose? Get comfortable, because we're about to unravel a tale that's as profound as your neighbor's cat stalking the sunbeams across the living room rug. As you settle in, don't forget to hit like, subscribe, and leave a comment. Only if you enjoy the ride, of course. No pressure, though. We're all about those cozy vibes here. Now, dim the lights, crank up the fan, but not enough to send that lovely prayer rug flying, and snuggle into your blankets. So ask yourself, what's the deal with all the struggles? Why do we have to endure challenges that feel as tricky as assembling IKEA furniture without instructions? Have you ever pondered why sometimes it seems like Allah just wants to sculpt us like a fine piece of art, hammering away the excess until all that's left is something beautiful? Congratulations! You've just woken up in the chaotic yet beautifully transformative years of 620 to 622 CE. Right at the heart of what we now call the late Meccan period. Imagine standing in Mecca,
where the air is thick with tension, and those struggling for faith are as common as cats in a courtyard sunbathing. But beneath the surface lies a hidden world, roots intertwining and flourishing in ways unseen, much like your parents' private stash of baklava they claim is only for special occasions. Now, let's illustrate this storm, shall we? Imagine towering clouds swelling ominously above, carrying the weight of untold rain as the winds whip through the barren landscape like an angry toddler at a candy store. Thunder cracks like a cosmic joke about to unfold, while flashes of lightning dance across the sky, illuminating this scene of chaos. The people of Mecca experience these storms not just in the form of weather, but in the chaos of their daily lives, their challenges, their moments of doubt. Much like that time your boss asked for reports ASAP while you were innocently expecting a typical day with minimal panic. Comedy and chaos blend into the storms of life. But wait, it's darker out than it seems. Look closer. Just beneath that turbulent landscape, there are unseen roots stretching deep into the earth. You might not see them, but they're growing stronger with each gust of wind and each drop of rain, reinforcing the very foundation of life itself. Picture these roots as the resilience of the human spirit. With every drop of hardship, much like that inconsiderate roommate who keeps leaving dirty dishes in the sink, every struggle you face is helping to strengthen your faith and character. Let's be honest. Have you ever had that moment where you just wanted to shout at the universe, "What gives?" while wondering why it feels more burdensome than a heavy backpack filled with textbooks, each page echoing, "You can't do this?" Those doubts swirling around are just temporary storms, teasing your perseverance like a prankster hiding behind a door. Now, as the rain starts to pour, let's take a moment to appreciate the sound. It's both soothing and reassuring, like that one friend who always sends cozy messages when life feels chaotic. Do you catch the rhythm? Just like life, the rain dances and sometimes drops heavily, reminding you that growth comes from struggle. Kind of like how that terrible haircut you endured in high school shaped your now impeccable style. You had to go through it to emerge glittering like the finest gold. You reflect upon the community around you. Their trials resemble your own. Makkah is a swirling mass of humanity, each person carrying their burdens, facing their storms. Yet, right beneath their feet, the roots of resilience continue to grow, weaving a tapestry of strength. Even the companions of the Prophet Muhammad, peace be upon him, felt these storms, knowing they were being tested, shaped, and readied for the immense mission ahead. Just like every quiet night when the moon shining above makes you reflect, you remember that Allah tests those He loves most, not to break them, but to build them, much like how that old tree in your neighborhood persevered through years of storms. Its roots deepened into the soil, creating a haven for all the birds of the world. While the storm rages outside, the true battle unfolds within every soul present. Those hidden roots strengthen the very foundation of faith, reminding all of you that a nurturing presence lies in every struggle. Much like how you endeavor to find the bright side of every hiccup, knowing that tomorrow is another chance to grow and laugh, even if it's at your own expense. As you listen to the scenario unfold, thunder rumbling, winds howling, droplets pelting against the earth, remember, each storm is a metamorphosis. With every challenge faced, you're not just surviving, you're sprouting roots in the calm after the storm that remains unseen, but oh so powerful. Much like your friend who quietly masters their craft only to surprise everyone at the showcase. So, lean back into your pillows, let the sound of the rain soothe your heart, and feel the weight of your struggles melt away. Understand that these hidden roots forming beneath the chaos will eventually foster a stronger connection with your faith, making you more resilient, able to face life's ups and downs with the laughter and courage reminiscent of a gentle storm calming down after a wild skirmish. Your struggles, beloved friends, are part of the divine design, sculpting you into something beautiful, purposeful, and worthy of love. Much like that awkward teenager turning into
a stunning adult. So drift away into dreams under this comforting reminder of how the storms pass and the hidden roots grow deeper, nourishing you for whatever comes next in this roller coaster of life. As the night deepens, may you find peace in your soul, laughter in your heart, and strength as resilient as those roots tucked away beneath the surface. Sleep well until our paths cross again, inshallah. Chapter 11. The Celestial Curtain of Struggles. Salam alaikum, dear friends. Tonight we're about to embark on a journey deeper than that one time you tried to understand your in-laws' family tree. Because, honestly, who keeps track of 100 cousins, right? Get cozy as we peel back the layers that shroud our struggles, just as a stubborn cat might refuse to peel itself off your lap. Before we dive in, if you find this trip through celestial mysteries and amusing ancient dilemmas delightful, do consider hitting like, subscribing, and commenting, only if you truly enjoy this ride. No pressure. The goal here is relaxation, much like a warm mug of chai on a cold evening. So, dim the lights, turn on that fan to a gentle breeze, safe from any airborne fan blades attacking your beloved prayer mat, and snuggle under those blankets, everyone. Now, here's a curious thought. Do you ever wonder if the struggles in your life are simply cosmic homework? What if every challenge you face is part of a divine scheme, crafted by the hands of the Almighty to help you grow? Are you prepared to unravel the mysteries hidden behind your daily grind? Or perhaps find out why being tested sometimes feels like a stubborn pomegranate refusing to open when you just want a juicy bite? Congratulations! You've just woken up in the most tumultuous years of 620 to 622 CE, nestled snugly in the heart of Makkah. Picture this: the sun rising over dusty streets filled with merchants shouting deals louder than the neighbor's rooster at dawn, while people wander around much like lost kittens in a garden maze. The air is thick, not just with spices and Saharan winds, but with the weight of impending revelations and divine tests. It's a time where the Prophet Muhammad, peace be upon him, is enduring trials that would make even the strongest heart tremble like an overcooked egg. The ordinary citizens of Makkah pace the roads, each struggling with their own burdens, much like how you might scuffle around at a wedding, juggling a plate of biryani, a drink, and, of course, avoiding Uncle Mahmoud's unsolicited marriage advice. Despite the chaos, there's magic in the air, mystical swirling threads of light that weave into a grand tapestry representing the hidden plans of the universe. It's like walking into a spice bazaar where every jar holds the essence of dreams, struggles, and triumphs just waiting to be explored. These threads shimmer like the stars in the night sky, a beautiful sight if only the dusty streets would hold still for a minute. Now, allow your imagination to stretch a little. Let's lift a corner of a hefty velvet curtain that veils this magnificent celestial exhibition. As you peek beyond it, you reveal an intricate web, glowing and pulsating, representing the divine wisdom behind every hardship you've faced. It's not just light, it's a kaleidoscope of possibilities and lessons waiting to unfold, much like those old books that promise to change your life but end up being more of a paperweight. You see, every luminous thread intertwines, whispering secrets about why, perhaps, Allah tests those whom He loves the most. Imagine each challenge being like a sculptor chiseling away at a block of marble, revealing the beauty hidden within. Each striking blow isn't meant to damage, but rather to refine, allowing you to emerge as a masterpiece, worthy of admiration, even if you sometimes feel more like a Picasso painting with all the chaotic angles. But the question remains, what does all this stirring cosmic drama mean for you living in today's world? You contemplate those times you yelled at the universe as if it were your long-lost cousin who borrowed money and vanished. It's puzzling, isn't it? Why does life throw curveballs that knock you off your feet,
Like that time you thought you'd impress everyone with your dance moves, but ended up face first into the buffet table. Yet, as tumultuous as the storms feel, look closer. Just beneath the surface of your struggles lie the mysterious threads, the roots of resilience, twisting and twirling like their own cosmic dance. It's not chaos for chaos's sake, it's growth. Just like those awkward days in middle school where you couldn't figure out if you liked math or if you were just trying to impress that one classmate. Now, enveloped in this idea, you can hear the distant rumble of thunder, the soothing sound mimicking the gentle pace of life itself. The rain starts to draw near, an elegant ballet of drops pirouetting from the heavens down to the ground, much like your dreams gently landing from the skies of hope to the fields of reality. The cadence of the storm is akin to a heart finding peace amidst chaos, each droplet a reminder that growth often comes from struggle. And there it is again. Every tinkle of raindrop echoes a moment in your life, reminding you to breathe. With every drop, take a moment to reflect. Even in this labyrinth of trials, growth will come. Much like how that fire-red chili paste in your fridge reinvigorates each meal, ensuring neither taste buds nor spirits remain dull. So now, dear friends, as you wrap this evening in this tranquil embrace of understanding, breathe in deeply. Realize that your struggles, framed by the glowing threads beneath the divine curtain, are intricate patterns designed to grow your spirit and deepen your connection to faith. Each storm passing over you is sculpting something magnificent, your resilience a testament to the love that flows from the Creator. This evening, allow yourself to drift slowly into sleep, comforted by the realization that you are part of this grand tapestry, each struggle a beautiful, irreplaceable thread woven into the story of your life. Tuck this thought snugly in your heart. Behind every challenge lies the divine purpose, nurturing your roots for the next chapter that awaits. Sleep well, beloved friends, and remember, the storms will pass, the roots shall grow, and the universe is conspiring beautifully in your favor. Until we meet again, Insha'Allah. Chapter 12. The Duality of Paths. Salam alaikum, dear friends. Welcome back to our sanctuary of stories. Tonight, we're off to a time as perplexing as trying to prepare a family meal without burning the rice. The late Meccan period, 620 to 622 CE. Picture this, the ever-busy streets of Mecca, where merchants barter with a zeal that rivals a toddler's determination to negotiate for an extra cookie. But before we embark on this whimsical journey through rocky coastlines and life's oh-so-amusing trials, let me ask you, have you ever felt completely lost while trying to solve a problem, as if your GPS decided it wanted to practice its interpretive dance skills instead of guiding you? Or have you found yourself caught in a twist of fate that seemed to be part of a cosmic joke? Maybe there's a part of you that instinctively recoils at the thought of life throwing you challenges, like your favorite pickle-making aunt tossing out her unsolicited pickling tips at a family gathering. Well, congratulations, dear friend. By some miraculous twist of fate, you've just woken up in the bustling, chaotic heart of Mecca, between the years of 620 and 622 CE, time when the Prophet Muhammad, peace be upon him, faced opposition like never before. Let's take a deep breath and step into this dusty tapestry of history, a place as vibrant as a bazaar filled with fragrant spices and flirtatiously persistent flies. Here, amidst the swirling sands and the urgent calls of traders haggling over wares, we find two figures, your future selves, you and your wise friend, both dancing awkwardly along the rocky coastline, illuminated not just by the sun, but by the special light of divine wisdom. You glance sideways at your companion, who strides ahead with purpose. There's an air of confidence in their stance, as if they know precisely where they're headed, a stark contrast to your own bewildered state. It's not every day you encounter rocky shores, not two,
Mention the fact that you can't think straight in a time where logic seems just a smidge off balance, much like that one uncle at weddings who can never remember his dance moves. Let's take a moment to appreciate the spectacle of this coastline. Feel the wind as it tussles your hair like a constant reminder that yes, you are out of your comfort zone. The salty breeze carries whispers of the ocean, a symphony of crashing waves and seagulls squawking out existential questions like, "Where does the fish go when it's not on my plate?" Ah, if only we humans were as astute. So here you are, paired with your purposeful friend, each step a meditation on the nature of divine testing. Why is life so bewildering, you muse, grasping the fluffy optimism of a cloud shaped like a unicorn? Your friend, oblivious to your metaphysical musings, stops to observe a crab scuttling by, its quick little legs moving in a way that might suggest they're late for a very important meeting. "Do you see that crab?" they ask, gesturing like a quizmaster poised with the final question. It knows exactly where it's headed, undeterred by tides or obstacles. You peer at the creature, half expecting it to whip out a tiny briefcase and take off to negotiate peace between land and sea. In that moment, you feel the weight of your questions, the whys, the hows, the cosmic homework you seem forever burdened with. The crab goes on, unfazed by your pondering. But isn't that just like life itself? Full of little crabs scuttling about, demonstrating resilience, while you stand frozen, wrestling with the paradoxes of existence. Let's pause here, a little chuckle brewing within you. The absurdity doesn't escape you. Here you are, grappling with existential dilemmas, while life continues to scurry on like the crab, reminding you that perhaps logic isn't the only measure of success or worth. Maybe even the Prophet Muhammad, peace be upon him, found himself with more questions
than answers at times, navigating through storms of doubts, detractors, and divine purposes, much like you navigating your own stormy sea, albeit with a bit more flair. As you meander further down the rocky path, your companion shares yet another nugget of wisdom. Sometimes, the struggle of not knowing the destination is the real sign of growth. You climb over a large stone, only to realize that while the crab navigates rocks effortlessly, you sometimes trip over your shoelaces. The reality hits, much like the realization that you've just eaten the last of the good snacks, and the only thing left is a mysterious container of something your mother swore was edible, but now looks like a science project gone wrong. But deep down, you feel your friend's words resonate. The struggle is crucial, molding you like Play-Doh in a child's eager hands. Here on this coastline, where the waves crash and the sun begins to dip, you acknowledge that every challenge is but a part of your own divine tapestry, a vibrant strand woven into the storyline of your life. With the horizon painted in shades of deep orange and purple, you begin to feel the gentle caress of understanding wash over you. You realize that perhaps Allah tests those He loves most, not to burden you, but to unveil the hidden potential bubbling beneath the surface. Just like the ocean hides greater treasures below its waves, your struggles may hide lessons that shape you into the masterpiece you are meant to become. As you walk along the coastline, hand in hand with purpose and questioning, you hear the distant echo of laughter, perhaps even an encouraging chuckle from the universe itself, as you, like the intrepid crab, take each step not in rigid logic, but in fluid grace. When the sun finally sets and the sky blankets the world in shimmering stars, you understand that it's not just the destination that matters, but the journey of the heart and spirit. Embrace your struggle, and you may just find, like you did here, a glimmer of magic hidden beneath the waves. So, dear friends, as day gives way to night, rest your head in the comfort of awareness and resilience. Know that every bump, every smooth stone, every confounding crab is part of the grand design, each struggle preparing you to dance your way towards your own sacred shores. Sleep under the vastness of the stars,
everyday crabs scurrying alongside your dreams. And remember, Allah is weaving a beautiful story with you, thread by fragrant thread. Until we meet again, inshallah. Again, in Chapter 13, The Fisherman's Dilemma. Salam alaikum, dear friends. Tonight, we drift into a moment more puzzling than trying to find your lost left sock. The late Meccan period, 620 to 622 CE. Imagine the sun-soaked shores of Mecca, where the smell of dates mingles with the breath of the sea, and fishermen are as common as unsolicited advice at a family gathering. But before we venture deeper, let me ask you, have you ever faced a problem so big that it felt like trying to fit a camel through the eye of a needle? Or perhaps your plans derailed as unexpectedly as a dinner party when the cat decides to serve itself? And have you ever found yourself staring at a mess, wishing the universe would just hand you a manual on how to navigate life's capricious chaos? Well, congratulations! You've just woken up in 620 CE, a place cluttered with strategies, struggles, and a sprinkle of divine wisdom. Imagine this. Before you lies a small wooden fishing boat, its sturdy structure now marred by a jagged hole, like a toothache that just won't quit. The poor fishermen, with their sun-drenched faces lined with concern, watch the waves lap tenderly against their once proud vessel, as if whispering secrets. Unbeknownst to them, their little boat holds more than just a hole. It carries a hidden lesson wrapped in struggles. Meanwhile, the scent of salt in the air gives way to a faint aroma of fried fish from a nearby stall. Ah, sweet aromatherapy mixed with a dash of desperation. It's as if the universe is telling them, faith is like this fish, elusive but rewarding, if you free it from the net of doubt. But they see only the broken boards and feel only their disappointment. You might chuckle softly at their predicament and thought, what would I do without a reliable toolbox? But fear not, for history tends to surprise us in delightful ways, especially when God's hand is at play, even if it feels invisible as your missing left sock. As the fishermen gaze at their breach, they seem as bewildered as your unsuspecting cousin who decided to bake cookies without checking the ingredient list. Lo and behold, salt instead of sugar. Picture one of them, wringing his hands and complaining louder than a goat who just discovered it's time for a haircut. No fish today, only heartbreak in this cursed boat. But behold, the other fisherman, a far more optimistic soul, wildly gestures at the bountiful sea. Look at that, a sign that we must dive into creativity. Can't we just plug this hole with some seaweed until we mend it proper? The idea isn't as absurd as it sounds. Life often demands us to be resourceful, just like making dinner with whatever leftover ingredients beckon from the fridge, or perhaps styling your hair with a half-empty bottle of gel. And as the duo debates over what to do next, their voices crash gently over the waves, mingling with the laughter of passing children and the distant calls of merchants hawking their wares. Oh, what a fortune we could catch, dreams the pessimistic one as he darts nervously from the boat to the rocky shore. All we have is a dilapidated boat and our empty nets. This moment feels oddly universal, like that time you surveyed your kitchen after an adventurous cooking session, only to find you have a collection of noodle leftovers that could potentially serve as a modern art exhibition. How many times have we asked, why does my life feel like a beautifully chaotic mess? As their heavy hearts weigh them down, a kind old man, wise beyond his years, ambles by with a creaking stick, kind of like a wooden version of a GPS. He watches the disheartened man and chuckles softly. You know, sometimes Allah tests those He loves most. Don't you see it? Sometimes it's not just about fixing the boat. It's about fishing for character, my dear friends. The fishermen blink. Character? Asks the optimistic one, as if this was a group project he didn't sign up for. Yes, just as the ocean seems daunting, so too are your struggles. Think of the wisdom hidden within them, like treasure beneath the waves. All these struggles have a purpose, an opportunity to delve deeper and discover more than just fish. You chuckle quietly, perhaps imagining the men responding by drawing maps in the sand or plotting their life goals at the water's edge. Meanwhile, the old man's words sink into their minds. After all, the experience resides not just in the boat or the fish, but also in their very hearts. In that fleeting moment of awakening, as the sun dips lower on the horizon, golden rays streaming across the shimmering water, you realize the hidden message. It's easy to forget that every struggle is a step on the divine treadmill of growth. Each wave battering your spirit, a reminder that patience and resilience are muscles we all must strengthen. So, dear friend, as night descends over the shoreline, the fishermen reflect on their plight. Consider this chapter of their life. A reminder that even the most tangled nets can eventually lead to bountiful catches, not only of fish, but of wisdom, maturity, and a deeper connection to the Creator. And while they might still be pondering which direction to mend the hole in their boat, perhaps they'll find a glimmer of hope in the challenge. Just as we navigate our rocky coasts, the struggles we face aren't meant to drown us, but to elevate us, fashioning us into the pearls we are destined to become. As you tuck into your own dreams tonight, remember, each struggle is a ripple in your journey, like the waves lapping against the shore. Sleep soundly, knowing that the divine plan has poetic ways of guiding us toward our hidden strengths. Inshallah, we'll meet again, ready to explore more of this beautifully chaotic world. Until then, may your dreams be filled with clarity and laughter, and may your heart always find its way.
Home.
Chapter 14. The Stone Wall Messenger. Salam alaikum, dear friends. Tonight we venture into a moment more mesmerizing than discovering that your favorite satirical sitcom is actually based on real-life events. Picture this: a dusty stone wall in a remote village, quietly minding its own business during the late Makkan period, 620 to 622 CE. Imagine the sun blazing down like a judgmental parent at a talent show, where not a single villager dares to applaud. As we settle into this tapestry of history, I invite you to dim the lights, turn on a fan, and snuggle into your blankets like a tightly wrapped shawarma. Prepare yourself for a journey that'll be as calming as sipping chamomile tea while watching a cat video. But before we dive in, let's ponder some absurd questions that reflect life both then and now. Have you ever felt like you were contributing to something monumental, while everyone else stood by looking like they were purposefully avoiding eye contact? Think of that coworker who forgets to do their share during group projects, leaving you wondering if you'd accidentally signed up for a one-man show. Ever had your neighbor stand in the doorway, all while you poured your heart out about your latest troubles, just to receive a nod, a smirk, and a polite, "Good luck with that"? And let's not forget that feeling when you finally finish that DIY project, only for the local news team to roll up, just when you were ready to show off your newly decorated living room, complete with creative new color choices that seemed like a good idea at the time. Well, congratulations. You've just woken up in 621 CE, amidst the hustle and unexpected hilarity of late Mecca. The sun's rays blanket the village, falling gently on the dusty rooftops like uncertain hugs from relatives you seldom see. Let's talk about our beleaguered traveler attempting to rebuild a stone wall. Picture him, elbows deep in mortar, single-handedly revamping a structure perhaps as forgotten as your cousin's alternative career in interpretive dance. The villagers gather around, peeking out from the shadows of their homes like bemused meerkats, whispering to each other as if they've stumbled upon an unexpected reality show. As our traveler sweats under the Makkah sun, you can almost hear the locals muttering, "Ah, look at him. At least he's putting in the effort. When the last time we did something other than gossip, am I right?" With wrinkled brows and a dash of skepticism in their eyes, They watch him tackle the task like a juggler at a poorly organized circus, attempting to balance more than just the stones. Each block he positions speaks louder than words. "Look at me, I'm shaping the world." The villagers can't help but tilt their heads in unison, much like the confused animals in a petting zoo that just learned what personal space means. They find humor in his labor, yet something more profound begins to
emerge, a reflection of their own struggles.
The traveler pauses, wipes his forehead, and with a thoughtful glance at the half-assembled wall, asks aloud, "So, have you ever tried fixing a wall that wasn't even broken?" Silence thickens the air, and the only response is the rustling wind, as if it too shies away from answering such an existential conundrum. "Maybe," he continues, "sometimes we make things harder than they need to be. It's just stones and mortar. Let's not overthink this like a bee worrying about which flower to land on first. It's either the pretty one or the one giving off free samples." And in this moment of absurd yet poignant humor, the watching villagers start chuckling quietly among themselves. You can sense the ice thawing. Their hearts start to open up to the silent wisdom this traveler embodies. They realize that their indifference could be as burdensome as the heavy stones the traveler is hauling. And perhaps their lives too could benefit from just a touch of stone-laying philosophy. As the sun dips lower, painting the sky in hues of orange and violet, our traveler breaks into a grin as he puts the final stone in place. You see, dear friends, life is like this wall. Sometimes it feels daunting, just like trying to find matching socks in your laundry when you're certain they've been abducted by the dryer gremlins. Yet, with a little persistence and support, you can create something sturdy. His laughter dances on the breeze, mixing with the soft chuckles of the villagers, and unexpected communion forming in that moment. As night gently cloaks the village, they find themselves leaning closer, drawn in by the warmth of his words rather than keeping their distance. They are reminded that struggles, like those walls, are simply opportunities for growth, connection, and perhaps a few laughs along the way. So, dear friend, as you settle deeper into your slumber tonight, recall this chapter of our traveler's tale, where stones, laughs, and a hint of humanity collide. Every struggle you face may not just be a burden. It can lead to strength, character, and resilience. And as you let each dream carry you away this night, remember that the effort put forth today builds the walls of tomorrow. Insha'Allah, we'll meet again to delve further into this beautifully charming and chaotic world. Until then, may your dreams be enriched with understanding and insight, and may every challenge in your life lead you closer to the humor of divine wisdom. Sleep well. Chapter 15. The Geometric Web of Existence. Salam alaikum, dear friends. Tonight we're diving deeper than a toddler lost in a ball pit that looks deceptively simple, yet is a labyrinth of chaos. Prepare yourselves for a journey through the late Makkan period, 620 to 622 CE, where hidden truths about life's struggles unfurl like a mystical carpet, revealing layers more complex than your Aunt Fatima's famous baklava recipe. Imagine if reality weren't just a straight line, but rather a mesmerizing grid of glowing geometric lines and patterns, each shift and turn representing every event in existence, all orchestrated by a wisdom that surpasses our human understanding. Are you picturing it? Great! Now hold on to that thought like a cherished family heirloom you actually hope to keep around. So, let's ponder a few whimsically absurd questions while we gently slip into the vibrancy of that era. How many of you have ever found yourself staring at a task that seemed easier to ignore than confront, as if it were a foreign object stuck in your vacuum cleaner? Isn't it amusing how we often believe we can just wish our responsibilities away? And have you ever felt like one of those rugs that spent too much time in storage, beautiful on the outside, but unraveling at the seams? What if I told you that every time you felt tested, you were merely finding your way through a geometrical pattern of existence, designed by the Creator to elevate you rather than to break you? Journey with me as we explore this intricate web of connection, struggle, and the hidden divine wisdom that lies therein. Congratulations! You've just woken up in 621 CE, a time when people were bustling about Mecca, dealing with their daily dramas, like neighborhood gossip about the town baker's latest loaves. Did they rise to the occasion, or were they flat like last week's expired soda? The sun reigns overhead like a monarch, coaxing the villagers out of their homes, each person an actor in this grand play of life. Let's set the stage. You find yourself walking down a street lined with homes of sun-baked clay, the aroma of spices wafting through the air as the light shimmers playfully on the horizon. Suddenly, you notice a group of onlookers, peeking and whispering furtively like secret spies on a mission. Now let's talk about our main character, a rather perplexed gentleman trying to assemble a structure. But not just any structure, my friends. This is a wall said to represent the trials of existence itself. Picture him wearing a tunic that looks like it desperately needs ironing. Clearly, he didn't have the luxury of laundry day. He's wrestling with stones, mud, and an equal amount of self-doubt. Every block he lays speaking louder than his words. "Look at me, shaping the universe," he might shout, while the villagers snicker. Not quite Michelangelo, is he? The crowd observes him from their shaded alcoves, raising eyebrows, their expressions a blend of skepticism and reluctant admiration. And suddenly, you're part of this gathering, experiencing the gentle laughter of a community mingling joyfully, almost like a family reunion, but with less awkward small talk and more heartfelt introspection. You can almost hear a local muttering under his breath. Poor fellow is trying to build something, but it's not even clear what. It's a relatable struggle, isn't it? Much like when you attempt a DIY project with half-understood Pinterest instructions, only to realize you've created a shelf Mom would definitely not approve of. Our wall builder pauses from his labor, cocks an eyebrow at his half-finished masterpiece, and looks at the villagers, saying, "You know, sometimes we just make things harder than they need to be, like trying to slice bread with a chainsaw." His words hang in the air like a gentle breeze, prompting muffled laughter. The weight of their struggles morphs momentarily into shared lightness as they realize they are all navigating the metaphorical blocks of their existence. Imagine the walls of each of their lives, struggles protecting them, just like the stones he's trying to fit together. Every challenge, a block. Every setback, a layer of mortar. The wall, with all its imperfections, begins to symbolize something more profound. Resilience, community, and the recognition that life's struggles are often the very scaffolding we need to rise higher. Just as he fits another stone into place, a child runs up with muddy feet and announces gleefully, "You're like a giant puzzle maker." The wall builder grins, his brow relaxing. "Exactly, dear one. But remember, sometimes the pieces we don't understand right now are essential for the complete picture." As the sun drops lower, painting the sky in hues of orange and pink, the villagers inch closer, drawn to this quirky man who has unwittingly sparked a revelation in their hearts, a connection they hadn't realized they were missing. They see in him a reflection of their own struggles, experiences intertwined with laughter and shared humanity. And so, my dear listeners, as you softly drift off to sleep, let this chapter remind you that, like the wall in our story, your struggles can be stones of resilience. May you approach each challenge you face with the humor and wisdom from our wall builder, understanding that every seemingly heavy stone might just be a stepping stone towards something beautiful. Inshallah, may you awaken refreshed and ready to face your own geometric patterns of existence with laughter and grace. Until next time, may your dreams be filled with understanding and light. Sleep well. Chapter 16, Alif Lam Mim, a portal to the divine. Salam alaikum, dear friends. Tonight, we're embarking on a journey deeper than your uncle's collection of dad jokes. Trust me, it's a bottomless pit. Prepare yourself to uncover the mystical treasures of the late Makkan period, around 620 to 622 CE. A time when life's challenges felt more overwhelming than trying to assemble IKEA furniture without instructions. Imagine, if you will, that the Arabic letters Alif, Lam, and Mim are glowing brightly in the dark night sky above a silent desert, serving as a celestial doorway to mysteries that only the Creator truly knows. Have you ever thought about why life throws seemingly random challenges at you? Like that time you thought it'd be a stellar idea to bake a cake from scratch and ended up with a volcanic mess. Or why does it seem like all your alarms go off when you're blissfully dreaming of riding unicorns through candy rainbows? Let those questions dance around in your mind as we gently drift back to 621 CE, a year filled with whispers of trials that could rival the most dramatic soap opera. You wake up, feeling sand beneath your fingers and the stillness of the desert surrounding you, like a soft hug from Mother Nature herself, if she were really into comfort. As you blink away the remnants of slumber, you find yourself in the heart of Mecca, a bustling city filled with traders and seekers navigating their daily labyrinths, much like a stock market on a roller coaster, each curve more dizzying than the last. The aroma of spices drifts through the air, tickling your nose, something akin to your Aunt Zainab's infamous shish tawuk that you sneakily devour late at night during family gatherings. People rush past you, their colorful robes flapping in the gentle desert breeze, chattering away like a flock of hyperactive birds. Suddenly, you stumble upon a gathering that looks more intriguing than your cousin's attempt at a TikTok dance challenge. Yes, the one that ends with him falling over awkwardly. In the center of this pulsating crowd stands a man, looking perplexed, who's attempting to build a wall. Thought calling it a wall might be stretching it, because it resembles more of a jigsaw puzzle that's yet to be completed. You can't help but wonder if he's the ancestral version of a DIY influencer, or merely a confused stonemason who skipped every class. Picture him, tunic rumpled and hair disheveled, wrestling with stones like a cat caught in a tangle of yarn, each stone representing yet another struggle that he and his fellow Makkans face daily. As this well-meaning builder groans in frustration, he smartly quips, "You know, folks, sometimes I feel like I need a manual for this wall-building business, or at least a friend who doesn't snicker whenever I drop a stone." The community chuckles, and just like that, the weight of their struggles lightens, like a balloon slowly letting go of its air. And suddenly it hits you, much like a fridge door opening in the middle of the night with a singular desire for ice cream, that this wall symbolizes the trials we all face in life. Every time he lays down another stone, there's a lesson hidden beneath it, glimmering like jewels in the sand. Each challenge you encounter adds another layer to your life's structure, and perhaps it's not just about what you're building, but how you're building it. In this luminous atmosphere, where laughter and sincerity intermingle, you feel an overwhelming sense of belonging, recognizing that you too are weaving your own complex tapestry of existence, one block at a time. Whether struggling with career decisions or relationship woes, you realize it's all part of the grand design, shaped by divine wisdom beyond mortal comprehension. Just then, a cheeky little boy interrupts your reverie, scampering up to the wall builder with the enthusiasm of a puppy seeing its owner return home after a long day. "You're like a giant puzzle maker," he declares, his eyes wide with wonder, perhaps contemplating if the builder knows where the missing pieces are hidden. "Oh, dear one, I'm just trying to fit everything together," he replies with a smirk. "But sometimes you find the best pieces are hidden in places you least expect, like my Aunt Layla's ancient recipe for lamb curry, which I am still convinced she hides from me." The building man's humor dances through the air, dissipating tension like forgetting your troubles while watching a cat chase its own tail. You start to see the challenge not as an insurmountable obstacle, but as a door, inviting you to explore the unseen beauty of patience and resilience. As the sun starts to set, painting the sky with strokes of orange and violet, it feels as if the very universe is an artist at work, crafting masterpieces right in front of your eyes. Little do the villagers know that their community's laughter
About the wall builder
will transform into tales of resilience passed down for generations, where the simple act of building becomes a source of collective strength, a whisper of divine love and support in the face of life's challenges. And as this spirited chapter unfolds in the tapestry of history, remember, dear friends, that every struggle you face adds a stone to your wall. Each laugh, each failure, and each triumph forms a part of your own unique structure, a testament to your journey. As you softly drift off tonight, may you find solace in the realization that every challenge is but another block in the grand design of your existence, intricately crafted by the one who loves you most. Inshallah, may you awaken refreshed, ready to tackle your own walls with the wisdom and humor of tonight's tale. Until we meet again, may your dreams be filled with divine blessings and weightless burdens. Sleep well. Chapter 17. The Forge of Trials. Salam alaikum, dear friends. Tonight we journey into a world hotter than your uncle's spicy curry, the roaring blacksmith forge of Makkah during the late Makkan period, a time when struggles bore the weight of iron, yet humor glimmered like gold amidst the flames. We're talking about a place where hammers fused with hopes and sweat mingled with prayers. Though if you think your Monday morning commute is rough, just wait for this tale. Now, before we plug in our time machine and crank it up, could you imagine living as a blacksmith back then? Would your apron look like a fashion statement from a medieval runway? How did they manage to keep their eyebrows intact while forging metals? And why, oh why, did they think, I can probably shape that, was a good idea when it came to a piece of raw gold? Spoiler alert, it's not like baking cookies. Believe me, it's not all hammers and heat. There's a sprinkle of divine wisdom and laughter lurking in the embers of every trial. Are you ready to dive into the furnace? Perfect, because congratulations, you've just woken up in 621 CE, the year where struggles are as common as a cat running after an unsuspecting lizard. The air is thick with the scent of sandalwood and the unmistakable clang of metal. Picture this. A bustling marketplace where tradesmen yell over one another like a crowd at a soccer match, and curiosity tingles at your fingertips. As you gather your wits, you find yourself outside a blacksmith's forge, your senses being assaulted by a symphony of sizzling heat and the rhythmic hammering of a skilled blacksmith pounding away at a bar of gold. Yes, raw gold. The stuff that's more valuable than your nephew's entire Pokémon card collection. The blacksmith, a burly man with arms thicker than the trunk of a tree and a beard that probably caught more dust than a broom, is sweating profusely as he battles the flames as if they were dragons from folklore. With every clang, the gold is transformed, impurities melting away, much like how you might find yourself cleansing your closet and finally throwing out those ancient, regrettable fashion choices. In the midst of this sweltering chaos, a young man with eyes sparkling brighter than the stars peeks inside the forge. He's wide-eyed, a curious blend of awe and dread as he watches the transformation unfold. But you noticed something that made him stand out. He's struggling to carry a bag heavier than your entire grocery haul after a mad dash to the store on half-price day. Why don't you just ask for help? You find yourself wanting to yell. But instead, you lean back, enjoying the show while pondering the hidden meaning behind his burdens. After all, who among us isn't carrying a bag full of struggles that we pretend we can lift with ease? Just then, the blacksmith pauses, grabbing a rag to wipe his brow, letting out a hearty laugh that echoes louder than a rooster at dawn.
Ah, young lad, if you want to forge something beautiful, you've got to endure the heat. Everything precious requires a little bit of fire. The young man, intrigued, sets his bag down, almost relieved to release the metaphorical weight bearing down on him. But is this heat really necessary? I mean, my hands burn just looking at you. The blacksmith chuckles, pointing to the gleaming bar of gold glowing ferociously in the fire. Of course, this humble gold needs to be tested, refined, and transformed. How else will it shine brighter than your neighbor's poorly built wall?
At this moment, you can't help but draw parallels to your own life. Ever felt like you're thrown into the flames, be it a tough work situation, familial drama, or the perpetual struggle of trying to stay disciplined in a world full of distractions? Each challenge signifies a spark, igniting your inner resilience. And just like that bar of gold, you too will emerge more polished.
As the night deepens and the stars twinkle overhead, the blacksmith's laughter mingles with the winds, crafting a melody that resonates through the hearts of all. You marvel at how the young lad's burdens, once dark and ominous, start to transform before your eyes, glimmering with hope and possibility, just like that golden bar now slowly cooling, ready to take shape into something exquisite. And there you stand, my dear friend, a silent witness to the forge of life, where struggles are no longer burdens, but gentle reminders of the love and strength instilled within us. Just think about it. All those late nights, frustrations, and hardships are simply a prototype for something grand. So as you find yourself drifting off tonight, remember this. Your struggles are a part of the beautiful forging process. Each trial you endure is a hammer's blow, shaping you into the magnificent creation that you are. May your dreams be filled with gold, and your burdens turn to feathers. Insha'Allah, may you awaken tomorrow with renewed strength, ready to embrace the fiery challenges of your own life with the spirit of laughter and resilience. Sleep tight, and may the stars watch over you.
Chapter 18. The Refining Fire. Salam alaikum, dear friends. Tonight we venture into a narrative distinctly warmer than a failed attempt at making hot chocolate on a lazy Sunday. The fiery heart of a blacksmith's forge in Mecca during the late Meccan period, circa 621 CE. Picture it now, glowing metal, sweat, and a hefty dose of divine humor. Or is it the sound of that clanging hammer echoing your uncle's singing at family gatherings? Before we crank up the heat, let's engage in a little mental gymnastics. Ever wonder how the ancient blacksmith managed to coax raw gold into a beautiful, refined bar while dodging errant flames? Was there a magical singing spell that made the impurities vanish? Or was it just good old elbow grease with a hint of divine guidance? What if blacksmiths had competition, the accidentally funny potters? Don't worry, it'll just be a little earth and water. Then boom, you've got a sculpture that looks like a lopsided jug. Ah, the joys of ancient craftsmanship. So, grab your cushions, dim the lights, set a mood that screams calm and cozy, and get ready to be whisked away to a world where struggles crystallize into gold. Congratulations! You've just woken up in 621 CE. The year is buzzing with uncertainty and hope, fueled by trials greater than the mystery of why this year's avocado crop keeps failing. Here in Mecca, the scent of sandalwood mingles with the harsh iron tang of the forge, so much so that even your nosy neighbor may think you're building a new outdoor grill. The sounds of bustling markets fill the air, traders hawking their wares like overenthusiastic salespeople at a clearance sale, all while you try to navigate through them without losing 3 toes. Let's immerse ourselves further in the scene. You find yourself standing outside a steaming, blistering blacksmith's forge, where it feels as though they are preparing some sort of grill fit for a king. Feel that warmth? That's not just the atmosphere. It's your own dreams of becoming the next great maker of stuff slowly boiling away. Inside the forge is our blacksmith, a burly figure with arms resembling tree trunks and a beard that seems to have absorbed more heat than a pizza oven on a Friday night. This Herculean man battles a blaze that roars louder than an over-caffeinated crowd at a singing competition. Each swing of his hammer sends sparks flying, almost as if he were trying to impress a date with a flamboyant display. And here's the gold, literally. The raw metal, when placed in the fiery furnace, starts to glow a mesmerizing liquid hue, shimmering like the latest trendy sofa fabric. You can't help but think to yourself, now that's a home decor choice.
Warning, European Quartz Golden Glow. Available in stores, but only during the burning season. But there's a lesson in all this heat, my friend. As the blacksmith molds and transforms that unfortunate lump of gold, impurities bubble up to the surface like emotions during a family game night. "What's that?" he chuckles, wiping the sweat from his brow. "Ah, the dross. Who needs you around? Off you go. Goodbye and good riddance." Like a truly wise uncle at a family barbecue, he knows that not all remnants should stick around, especially those that weigh us down. Just then, observe a young lad at the threshold of the forge. With eyes wider than saucers, and looking as if he just received a surprise sprinkle of cold water, he gingerly approaches. This somehow relatable character struggles to carry a bag heavier than your grandma's secret recipe book, filled with hopes and dreams, or perhaps just groceries. "What's in that bag? The last pastry left at the market?" you mutter under your breath, wanting to provide some unsolicited advice. Here's an idea. Why not seek help? Get a friend, call a cab, or at the very least, keep your gold-refining dreams lighter. The young lad, finally dropping his heavy burden and discovering his aching back, inquires, "But is the heat really necessary? I mean, this is just too hot." With a hearty laugh that vibrates more than an old blender, the blacksmith replies, "Ah, my friend, if you want to forge something spectacular, you must endure the heat. Every precious thing requires a bit of fire and fervor. How else will this gold outshine that ugly wall of your neighbor?" At that moment, rays of understanding illuminate your mind. Does this heat not mirror the challenges in your own life? Have you ever felt as if you were tossed into the flames of hardship, or struggling with the weight of unfulfilled expectations, whether at work or trying to be the perfect you? Each challenge manifests as a hammer's click, molding you closer to your ideal self, as if life whispers, "You too might emerge glistening." As the night progresses, the blacksmith's laughter dances with the crackling sparks, swirling into the soothing maca night. The young lad observes, realizing that the burdens he carries, the worries about fitting in, living up to established norms, and navigating a world ablaze with misunderstandings, can all transform into lessons of resilience and growth. Thus, as you settle into this tale, let your struggles reflect the process of refining gold. Embrace the heat, my dear friends. It's just life's way of creating something beautiful. Drift into peaceful sleep, knowing that you are, in essence, the masterful creation that will shine brighter every day. Rest easy, for tomorrow, with Allah's will, you shall greet every challenge as a necessary trial, one that molds and enriches your spirit like gold pulled from the fire. Sleep tight, warm hearts. Chapter 19. The Golden Heartbeat of Challenges. Salam alaikum, dear friends. Tonight we find ourselves deeper than your cousin's secret stash of snacks. The heart of Mecca, circa 622 CE, where the air is thick with stories and the scent of resilience, akin to that strange mix of incense and overcooked lentils drifting from your neighbor's kitchen. Let's take a stroll through the past, a history lesson more gripping than a Sunday soap opera and just as melodramatic. But before we dive in, have you ever wondered why some folks seem to have more trials than others? Is it a cosmic game of hide and seek where the universe giggles, saying, "Who's next for a little challenge?" Or perhaps Allah is merely giving out complimentary lessons in strength with a side of gold bars, because who doesn't love some treasure after a workout? Grab your coziest blanket, dim the lights, and let the soothing ambiance wrap around you like a warm hug. Imagine for a moment standing next to a figure in a blacksmith's forge, where lumpy, unshapely gold is about to undergo a transformation akin to your friend's questionable haircut getting an upgrade. Congratulations, you've just woken up in 622 CE, a time when the fires of struggles weren't just hot, they were the hottest gossip in town. Picture this.
Makkah is buzzing with people more diverse than a modern-day potluck party. A mix of merchants, artisans, and philosophers, all wearing expressions ranging from intrigue to confusion, much like when you try to decipher your 8-month-old's babbling. The chatter is lively, punctuated with the clanging of hammers and an occasional squawk from the market stalls. It's like a market on caffeine. Now, let's delve a bit deeper, shall we? You step closer to a blacksmith's forge, an intimidating sight involving flames hotter than your ex's rage during an argument. The blacksmith himself, a burly man with arms that could lift camels, and maybe sometimes does just for fun, is at work. He's got a face like a medieval knight, but the charm of your goofiest uncle, complete with a beard so long it could double as his best friend. As you stand there, entranced, watching him pull out a beautifully refined piece of gold that glimmers brighter than a freshly polished trophy, you can't help but wonder, what makes this gold so special? It's just gold. Is it the heat? The pressure? Or is it a secret recipe passed down from generations that includes perhaps a touch of old complaining about customers who never leave a tip? The refining fire, he says, wiping sweat from his forehead like a dramatic movie star, is where the magic happens. Every challenge in life is like this fire. He tosses the sparkling metal into a bucket of water, and it crackles. Just like the heart of the believer, it becomes more valuable with every trial, just like your grandma's stooped-over forgiving nature after she smacks the pan in frustration. He smiles. Knowingly, as if this is the most normal conversation one could have while juggling molten metal. You find yourself mentally nodding along. Yes, my heart has been through the ringer of trials. Between careers, bills, and that one time you lost your keys, again, your struggles have certainly given you the heart of an adventurer, or at least someone who's great at looking for lost objects. Suddenly, a young lad, barely reaching the bellies of the towering men around him, wanders closer. His hands clutch a heavy backpack, much like one filled with all the unresolved issues you've been lugging around since you turned 30. "Excuse me, sir," the lad says, sounding like a tiny mouse caught in a lion's den. "Is the heat really necessary for the gold?" To which the blacksmith roars with laughter, shaking the forge, spitting out sparks like a dragon. "Ah, my boy, without the heat, the gold stays the same. It's ugly and worthless, like a half-burnt toast. You need the flames to bring out its beauty." And then it strikes you, life-bringing epiphany. The experiences you and I share, those late nights of wrestling our own insecurities and carrying burdens heavier than your aunt's gossip at family gatherings, are our own personal refining fires. Just as that gold, it brings out our truest selves. So when you're feeling overwhelmed, or like your heart is about to be lost during happy hour, remember, each struggle refines you, much like that blacksmith honing the gold. Through laughter and warmth, the blacksmith enriches your understanding. Every challenge nudges us closer to our inner treasure. Just imagine, what if everyone's trials were publicized like a blooper reel? Look at this guy trying to juggle life but dropping everything but the pancake. Wouldn't it be comforting to see everyone else's comedic moments, where trials become less terrifying and more relatable, like a shared laugh over breakfast pancakes that just went terribly wrong? And there you stand, dreaming of sugar-coated pancakes, while the blacksmith carries on, pouring wisdom like molten gold. You see, my friend, just as we refine gold, Allah tests those He loves most. It's all part of the divine humor, a cosmic checklist. Make them stronger, wiser, and just a tad more humorous. As the forge crackles and dark embers dance like fireflies under the starry Mecca skies, let the fleece of your thoughts wander into dreams, a reminder that every challenge you face is worth more than the finest gold. With a heart tempered by struggles, you will emerge dazzling, shedding light on those around you, guiding others as they navigate their blacksmith forges. So, let yourself drift into that comforting sleep, dear friends, knowing you're not alone in this journey.
Every nightly trial transforms you, much like the gold, valuable, refined, and radiant with the lessons that Allah has graced upon you. Sleep well, and tomorrow bring forth the gold in your heart. And remember, if this tale warmed your heart tonight, please give it a thumbs up, share it with friends, and subscribe if you found wisdom woven in this golden narrative. Peace and sweet dreams. And
Chapter 20. The Spectral Lineup of Trials. Salam alaikum, dear friends. Tonight, we're plunging into something more perplexing than why we insist on singing karaoke after 2 cups of tea at family gatherings. The intricate tapestry of human struggles across the ages. Imagine a grand lineup of spectral figures from different epochs, arranged like a group photo at a family reunion, but with less awkwardness and more divine purpose. Picture this. The horizon stretches before you, revealing a parade of characters, each representing a unique trial, much like that time you attempted DIY home renovations and ended up with a modern art masterpiece in your living room. Ever ponder why life likes to play musical chairs with our serenity? Is it a divine game of pin the tail on the prophet, where the result is often a face-plating reminder that trials test our resilience? As you nestle into the comfort of your blanket, picture yourself in an era where the skies above Makkah are as clear as that moment your toddler finally uses the potty. Let the soothing weight of the past seep into your thoughts, a whispering breeze guiding you through the trials faced by our beloved Prophet Muhammad, peace be upon him, and his companions during the late Meccan period, just a hop, skip, and jump away from the life-altering Hijrah. Congratulations! You've just awoken in 620 CE, where the air is dense with anticipation, and the sun casts long shadows behind the faces of those who grapple with disbelief and injustice. Ah, but what's that ruckus? Is it the sound of laughter peppered with desperation, or just a herd of camels arguing about the best way to cross the desert? Here, trials hang in the air like the scent of freshly baked bread wafting from a nearby day cafe. A tantalizing reminder that struggle and success often come together like best friends at a wedding reception. The infamous tribal leaders of Mecca stroll around, with egos larger than the Kaaba and ambitions thicker than the sand in a well-used tent, all while whispering doubts about the young man proclaiming a revolutionary message. Just over there, on the bustling marketplace street, a figure stands tall, bitten by the sun but unfazed. It's a young Bilal, stretching every ounce of strength he has to announce the call to prayer. His voice is like honey drizzled over a warm pancake, smooth and inviting, cutting through the chaos like a warm knife through butter. Yet, amidst the euphoria is a taste of bitterness, as Bilal carries a burden heavier than your uncle's stories at holiday dinners. But we must not forget the others as you wander through this historic realm. On your left, the steadfast companions of the Prophet, peace be upon him, gather in small groups, engaging in discourse that swings wildly from philosophical musings about God's love to debates that sound like a lively discussion on who makes the best falafel in the city. They experience ridicule not unlike that time you wore mismatched socks to work, and several well-meaning co-workers pointed it out every hour on the hour. Now, let's sidle up next to one of these spectral figures. Take a moment to examine the anguish in their eyes. Look closer. Each face is a reflection of trials that seem as unyielding as a stubborn stain on a favorite shirt. One companion is battered from the verbal assaults hurled his way, yet he stands resolute in the faith that holds him together, while the rain of hardship gleams like jewelry in the sunlight. Ever tried explaining something vital to those who don't want to listen? Welcome to the world of struggle. And if you lean closer, you can hear whispers of encouragement, words of power swirling around like a gentle summer breeze. Remember, my friend, they seem to say, every trial is a testament to resilience. Look around. Each struggle is a badge of honor, a reminder that the path we tread has been walked before. Ah, but there's a twist of divine humor at play. Trials pop up in life not as punishments, but as life lessons wrapped in absurd packaging. Imagine being gifted socks on your birthday. You don't want them, but life tosses them at you anyway. Likewise, the historical figure beside you shakes his head as if to say, "When life gives you lemons, make a lemonade stand. Just don't forget the sugar." Sweeping back across the scene, you observe a congregation of determined souls, echoing laughter and frustrations like melodies in the grand symphony of life. They cringe under the weight of their struggles, yet somehow they embody a warmth reminiscent of your grandmother's embrace after a long day. Each challenge turns them into alchemists, transforming leaden moments of despair into golden nuggets of strength, much like how you turn a night of burnt dinner into a charming tale of resilience. And with that thought, welcome to your personal enlightenment. Trials evenly spread among these characters capture the very essence of what it means to struggle. Remember, even the greats, like Prophet Muhammad, peace be upon him, faced adversities that would leave many quaking in their boots. But in those moments of testing, they discovered not just endurance, but divine love. As the horizon begins to fade into twilight, you realize this grand display of struggles weaves into a singular truth. Every challenge you face, from the mundane to the overwhelming, is part of a grand design. The cosmic serendipity of existence, where each one of us experiences tests like a cosmic gym that only Allah can design, helps craft our character, revealing that just like the companions standing tall beside you, there's strength hidden beneath our struggles, waiting to blossom. So, let your heart rest easy, dear friends. Lay your head down, drifting slowly into sleep, holding dear to the truth that Allah tests those He loves most. Remember that every struggle serves a purpose, whispering a gentle reminder that we're all part of a beautiful human tapestry, interconnected by trials, laughter, and love. And if this little nugget of heavenly humor resonated with your soul tonight, be sure to give it a thumbs up, share it with your family, and subscribe if you enjoyed meandering through history with us. Because honestly, who doesn't want to sleep better while learning about resilience? Peace and sweet dreams. And Chapter 21, Walking Among Shadows. Congratulations! You've just woken up in 620 CE, the late Makkan period, where the drama of life unfolds like a never-ending soap opera. The sun hangs high and hot, a relentless overseer of the bustling marketplace where hopes, dreams, and stalls for overpriced figs coalesce. As you stroll down the dusty roads of Makkah, you may find yourself pondering the ultimate dilemma. Why is it that everything seems heavy, both in your heart and on your wallet, especially while attempting to navigate this vibrant chaos? Picture this. You walk, a steadfast figure draped in simplicity, amidst the clamor of merchants bickering over fish prices, mothers shooing their children away from mischief, and strong, burly camels that seem to have an innate talent for blocking pathways, like your cousin during family group photos. The aromas wafting through the air create a strange but inviting blend. The sweet scent of roasted lamb juxtaposed with the distinctly not-so-sweet whiff of the nearby public bath, the kind that reminds you of the great lengths humans will go to avoid a visit. Ah, the art of blending in. Everyone around you is trying to sell something, be it spices, silk, or dubious camel-shaped trinkets. As you walk with quiet dignity, you can feel the world pressing in upon you, tugging at your existence, almost as if the air itself has decided to challenge your resolve. Have you ever tried to hold a yoga pose in a windstorm? That kind of absurdity meets you here, as the bustling energy seems to whisper, why not just blend in? Is your identity really worth the hassle? But fear not, for while the cobblestones beneath your feet serve as a battleground for invisible forces urging you to conform, you push back, standing tall like the Kaaba amidst the shifting sands. Yes, indeed, doubt and ridicule flutter around like the annoying flies that seem to swarm every outdoor gathering. There, just to ruin the perfectly marshmallowy experience you were hoping to enjoy. As you make your way past the marketplace, you notice a familiar face, the young Bilal, who you've secretly dubbed the human alarm clock. His voice rings out, cutting through the clamor with a radiance resembling early morning sunlight breaking through the blinds after a colossal sleep-in. Ever wondered how he manages to project such enthusiasm while you can barely find the motivation to select a breakfast cereal? The grand call to prayer that escapes his lips is tinged with a challenge, the kind of spiritual invitation that asks, how committed are you to reclaiming your truest self? Yet the thrust of identity is never easy, especially in a society that seems to revel in shoving you into a box, one labeled average citizen, tailored to fit snugly within societal norms. You try to sidestep the weight of the world's expectations, yet they pull you back in like a clingy friend desperate for your attention. Have you ever contemplated transforming your weekend plans into an existential crisis? Welcome to Makkah. Your noble companions walk by your side, exuding resilience amid the murmuring chaos. Here's a humorous thought. Ever tried explaining your life choices to someone who simply doesn't get it? It's akin to performing a Shakespearean monologue to a toddler, levels of confusion skyrocketing while their attention drifts to a passing butterfly. Makkah reflects this beautifully, as jabs and jests volley like a heated game of oversized dodgeball. You witness friends supporting each other in the face of ridicule, igniting the strength of community while navigating trials with grace. As you continue your stroll, evoking the grace of a seasoned catwalk model, your mind drifts back to thoughts of identity. You ponder how Allah, in His infinite wisdom, tests those He loves most, like tech companies pushing updates, sometimes necessary, often inconvenient, but ultimately with a clear purpose in mind. It's almost like a cosmic reminder that growth comes through discomfort, forcing you to confront those clashing identities. Shall I remain invisible or steadfast in my truth? And then, just as the realization hits you, bam! You overhear two tribal leaders animatedly debating over some trivialities, probably related to who owns the biggest goat. It is ridiculous enough to remind you that sometimes the loudest conversations aren't about enlightenment, but merely the perpetual racket of human imperfection. These figures, exampled by their reckless, demanding energy, are nothing but distractions, tethering your inner light to the earthly desires that often pull us off mission. But as the sun dips lower in the sky and the shade begins to cool what was once scorching, you find comfort in the shared struggles among your companions. Their trials cloak them in a soft aura of relatability, much like how you feel on a Sunday afternoon in front of back-to-back episodes of your favorite series. Stick around long enough, and you might just find a lesson hidden amid the scattered shards of life. As evening descends upon Mecca, the sounds of laughter and camaraderie echo throughout the scene. The trials experienced today, mockery, judgment, and living life with dignity, converge, only to be met by waves of love and support from Allah, encouraging you to embrace who you truly are, crown yourself in delicious authenticity, and boldly step into the night, ready to face yet another day. And in this moment of clarity, as the stars twinkle like fairy lights strung across a warm evening sky, you can almost hear the whispers of wisdom echoing through the ages. A gentle reminder that struggles are not just hurdles, but stepping stones towards your true self. So rest well tonight, and may tomorrow greet you with the same resolve. A reminder that you are woven into the very fabric of existence, tested and treasured by the one who knows you best. As always, if you found yourself smiling or reflecting during this journey through time, why not share some love? Give us a thumbs up, subscribe, and share this tale with someone dear to your heart. But only if you truly enjoyed it. Sleep tight, dear friends, as the stories of the past continue to guide us on paths unknown. Chapter 22. Reflections of a Daring Heart. Salam alaikum, dear friends. Have you ever found yourself staring into a mirror, contemplating whether to embrace your true self or become a master of disguise? Tonight, we're diving into a scenario that's as comfy as a Persian rug and as perplexing as trying to decipher your cat's meows. Imagine this. You, a man in the late Meccan period of 620 CE, wrestling with the age-old battle of identity amidst a world that might as well be a circus full of judgmental onlookers. Now, before we dive deep, let's take a moment for an absurd but relatable thought. Have you ever deemed your coffee choice a personal identity statement? Like, I know cappuccinos are cool, but I really identify more with herbal tea, you know? Or have you wrestled with the idea of wearing that sweater that was once your grandma's, but now feels more like a life jacket from an uncharted island? Ah, the struggles of being true to oneself. And yes, much like trying to fit into last season's skinny jeans, being yourself during the Meccan period feels just as, well, constricting. Now, let's slip into our time machines and teleport ourselves directly into the dusty streets of Mecca. Congratulations! You've just woken up in 620 CE, where reflections come with just the right amount of drama as a bad soap opera. You find yourself in a dimly lit room adorned with draped fabrics that strangely smell like a mixture of incense and, well, something you suspect has seen better days. You glance at the gleaming surface of a polished bronze mirror, a luxury item that can only be admired but perhaps not treasured by those outside your tribe. You look in that mirror, and there it is, the face of a man wrestling with deeper beliefs. Spirituality that isn't just some decorative tablecloth meant to impress the in-laws at family gatherings. No, your faith runs deeper than your favorite shirt that you convince yourself is still fashionable. But, oh, the nagging urge creeps in like a nosy ant at a wedding. What would they think? Should I trim my beard? Ditch the traditional garb and opt for something more trendy? And so, you contemplate changing your appearance, a surprising thought that floats in like the aroma of freshly baked bread. The thing is, the society around you is less like a warm hug and more like an uncomfortable school desk, cramped, judgmental, and persistently nagging you for answers. You can almost hear the whispers rolling through the busy streets. Look at him with that big fuzzy beard and those simple clothes. Does he not know this is Mecca, the bustling heart of commerce and style? With that, you recall the face of your dear friend Bilal, blessed with a voice that is as enchanting as a nightingale's song, yet equally confident in his bold appearance. You think to yourself, how can he defy societal norms with such poise? Is it his unwavering faith, or a secret stash of hair gel only the elite know about? Ah, the questions swirl in your mind like the beautiful tapestries that adorn your walls. If only walls could talk. They probably have some juicy gossip about who's got the best dates in town. As you peer into that mirror, a wave of laughter escapes your lips, almost startling your own reflection. Sometimes these absurd thoughts are just humorous distractions. That's life for you. You wonder, do they really care about my outfit, or are they just bored? Is it a cry for attention, or a collaborative effort to see who dons the latest caftan trend this season? These thoughts flirt between the serious and the ridiculous, just like trying to explain to a toddler why they can't wear a superhero cape to school every day. And wait, what's that? Is it the sound of a prayer call drifting in from the open window? Ah, Bilal's voice rises and swells, cutting through the air like the sweetest note in a lullaby, providing a reminder of what truly matters. Ah, yes, you think. There's more to life than merely fitting into someone else's expectations. Much like trying to fit a camel into a Volkswagen. It's in that transformative moment you realize it's not about your appearance, but the essence of who you are. Your struggles, doubts, and relentless searches for acceptance aren't just hurdles, they're stepping stones. As the shadows lengthen and the dim light flickers, you start embracing that even the most magnificent of artworks begin with messy splashes of paint on a canvas.
Society may want you to blend into the crowd like watercolors in a monotone palette, but you are meant to stand out, like that bold spot of crimson in an otherwise gray landscape. And so, with a smile creeping back into your heart, you step away from the mirror, feeling as though you've just had a sincere conversation with an old friend, the kind that reminds you of your worth on a rough day. Within that cozy reflection,
Find a hidden layer of understanding. Your struggles are not signs of weakness, but the beginnings of something profound, a spiritual awakening waiting to unfold like the petals of a cherished bloom. So, as sleep beckons and you drift away tonight, may you remember that Allah tests those He loves most, and in the tempo of life, your trials guide you to your authentic self, inviting you to dance along, laughing at the absurdity of it all. Rest well, dear friend, as tomorrow awaits with new trials and treasures to uncover. If you found some joy or insight in tonight's escapade through time, why not do us a tiny favor? Like, subscribe, and share this journey with someone who might just need a little chuckle or an inspiring tale. Remember, we're all in this together, navigating the tangled mess that is life. Sleep sweetly, inshallah. Chapter 23. The Orator of Justice in the Marketplace. Salam alaikum, dear souls. Picture this, the bustling marketplace of Makkah in 620 CE. The aroma of fresh dates wafts through the air, intermingled with the scent of exotic spices. Imagine cinnamon and cardamom having a reunion. Yes, tonight we are taking a cozy dive into an era where standing up for what's right felt like wearing a tutu to a wrestling match. Bold, audacious, and possibly disastrous, but oh so necessary. Now, let me ask you, have you ever absent-mindedly backed away from a confrontation only to realize you just accidentally restocked the shelves of your local grocery store? Or perhaps, on a less dramatic note, have you faced the dilemma of whether to say something to that one friend who absolutely must know that their fashion sense makes them look like a rejected character from a medieval fair? No? Just me? Let's face it, standing up for others takes guts, much like trying to assemble IKEA furniture without The instructions while your cat is on a mission to sabotage your efforts. So, my friends, let's slip into our time machines and find ourselves in the sun-kissed streets of Mecca, where you've just woken up in the year 620 and your day is about to take a wild turn. Welcome to a place where your morning coffee is a cup of black tea, your breakfast might just consist of leftover figs, and your wardrobe choices do absolutely nothing to shield you from the sun's relentless gaze. As you step outside, your eyes immediately feast on the kaleidoscope of life in the marketplace. Merchants are hawking their goods louder than your uncle during family gatherings, and a colorful array of fabric flutters in the wind like banners of cheer. Amidst this are laughter, bustling chatter, and, alas, the occasional squabble. Because, let's face it, no marketplace is complete without a touch of drama, right? Then, in the midst of this cacophony, your gaze lands on a scene that makes your heart race. An orphan, a child, the very embodiment of fragility, stands valiantly against a group of fierce bullies, their voices raised in mockery sharper than a blacksmith's hammer. The sight tugs at your heartstrings, making you question, what kind of bravery does it take to stand tall when the world tries to knock you down? You feel a stirring inside, as if a giant from the pages of history has taken residence in your chest, pushing you forward. I can't just stand here, you think. And so, channeling absolutely zero theatrical training and casting aside all prudence, you march toward the fray, heart pounding louder than the drums at a wedding. With each step, the shrill of their laughter rings in the air, but your resolve solidifies. What do you think you're doing? You call out, every bit the modern-day superhero you never knew you could be. Thankfully, the market still operates without super in-depth paperwork for such heroic acts. Each eye in the bustling marketplace turns like a pendulum toward you, and suddenly, you become the unexpected center of attention. a delightful mix of bewilderment and fascination etched upon their faces. "Leave the boy alone," you insist, raising your voice, your heart racing like a camel on a sugar rush. At this point, you might be sweating heavier than a bakery on a Friday afternoon, but you press on, your voice a beacon of justice. "Your words are as sharp as your spears, but the boy is unarmed. You should know better." A murmur spreads among the crowd. You can almost hear the thoughts bouncing around. Who is this brave soul? Are they truly taking on the bullies? But the bullies, with their bravado intact, look at you as if you've claimed to have invented saffron. "And what are you going to do about it?" one of them barks back, their bravado and oversized coat hanging awkwardly on their shoulders. "Why, I'll simply remind you that strength without kindness is just a pancake without syrup, flat and uninviting." You respond with a flicker of humor to lighten the rising tension. The crowd chuckles softly, and an air of camaraderie begins to form, much like a friendly game of tug-of-war between two equal teams. Suddenly, the sun breaks behind a friendly cloud, and with it, your message of justice ripples through the crowd. You think, if only we could just tackle all problems like this, one absurd metaphor at a time. As the tension eases, you see the bullies begin to falter. Their scowls soften, almost as if the collective spirit of Makkah is asking them to reconsider their actions, to reflect upon the weight of their choices. After all, even the strongest men can be swayed by humor and compassion, a lesson that stands the test of time. With a final, firm gaze, you turn to the orphan, feeling a sense of warmth wash over you like a fresh breeze on a hot day. "Stand tall, little one," you say, "for you are not alone. Remember, your worth is beyond any mean-spirited taunts. Just as the mightiest falcon soars above the clouds, you too will rise." And with that, you take a step back, your heart swelling with triumph. The crowd, now transformed from spectators to believers in the power of kindness, start to murmur encouraging words, while the bullies, bewildered, discreetly abandon their cruel behavior, retreating from the scene like children caught red-handed. As the marketplace resumes its rhythm, you nod to the thankful orphan and disappear into the crowd, your heart soaring higher than a kite in a summer breeze. As the evening approaches, you may find yourself unable to sleep, not from the day's chaos, but from the joy of knowing you stood up for justice in a world that often forgot to. Indeed, Allah tests those He loves most, and today, you've passed with flying colors, proving that standing firm can lead to changing lives, even if it feels as absurd as trying to converse with a goat about its Democrats' dietary preferences, although who wouldn't want a pet goat? So, as sleep wraps its comforting arms around you tonight, remember that every struggle, every moment of courage, and every laughter shared is a step toward growing closer to your true essence, a testament that, in the grand tapestry of life, compassion always finds a way to shine through. If you found inspiration in our little adventure today, do us a favor, like, subscribe, and share this with someone who's got a heart of justice tucked away. Remember, we're all in this together, navigating the beautiful maze of life. Sleep well, dear friend. Insha'Allah. Chapter 24, The Invisible Leash of Life. Salam alaikum, dear travelers of the night. Tonight, we find ourselves in a setting darker than the bottom of a very deep well, perhaps. Imagine a forest so dense it could make a squirrel feel lost without its GPS. Yes, we are heading to the late Mecca period, specifically around 620 to 622 CE, where the shadows hold whispers and mysteries that even the trees seem to keep secret. So, as we prepare to venture into the depths of history, let me ask you, have you ever felt like you're running a marathon, only to discover you're attached to an invisible leash, which, quite frankly, is a bit too tight? Or perhaps you've tried to escape a work obligation, only to find you've accidentally attended a family reunion instead. You know, the kind where your Aunt Mary insists on telling embarrassing stories about your childhood. Yes, just like that.
Now, before we leap into our tale, I encourage you to take a deep breath. Dim the lights, maybe grab
A sweet treat to nibble on. Nothing like an almond or two, right?
and picture this. You've just woken up amidst the ancient oaks and vibrant, buzzing creatures of a dark forest, feeling a bit like a bewildered deer who's just realized it stepped into a crowded coffee shop during a rush. Can you hear the rustle of leaves whispering secrets? The scent of wet earth and wildflowers wafts through the cool air? What is it like to be you, lost amidst the trees, feeling the pull of the universe gently tugging at your heartstrings? Do you ever wonder if the trials you face are just Allah's way of ensuring you don't roam too far from home? Is life a series of tests designed to see how far you can run before that invisible leash brings you back? Like a dog chasing after a squirrel it will never catch. Or perhaps your elders had it right all along when they said, life is just a game of tug-of-war, and your aim is to not fall into the mud. Let the adventure begin, shall we? Imagine
Yourself sprinting through this dark forest, adrenaline pumping, heart racing. You, dear friend, are in quite the predicament. The trees, tall and looming like giants keeping watch, seem to murmur in hushed tones, filled with the legends of those who dared to wander before you. Each footfall crunches on fallen leaves, sending echoes rolling like distant thunder, splashing against the trunks as if to say, "Why hurry? You're not actually going anywhere." But alas, you're on a mission, or maybe you think you are. Wind swirls around you, lively and insistent, while the darkness looms thick like the thickest porridge imaginable. Who knew that even nature could conspire against an innocent wanderer? Your heart feels lighter than a feather, yet somewhere deep inside, a whisper of doubt lingers like that last piece of cake at a party, which everyone knows is also the most desirable. Now, imagine the feeling of freedom. Oh yes, you truly believe you've escaped the mundane sphere Of daily life, dodging family expectations like expert parkour lessons gone awry.
Just as you're settling into this euphoric moment, you trip over a pesky root, just like your optimistic plans for retirement. And there it lies, an invisible leash stretching taut between you and the unshakable grip of life itself. This leash, the manifestation of all your actions, decisions, and perhaps oh-so-harmless procrastinations, begins to pull. Suddenly, you feel a gentle tug at your core, reminding you that you can't just run away. No matter how far you think you've outrun your struggles, they have a way of catching up, like a determined cat who knows where you keep the treats. As you navigate through these confusing, dark trails, fleeting doubts flicker like fireflies, reminding you, is freedom a mere illusion? With every tangled branch you push away, you sense the weight of your actions pulling you back. It's a curious thing, isn't it? Trying to escape something only to find that the very act leads you straight back home. And in that moment, you recall an age-old truth, one that echoes through the tales of prophets and dreamers alike. As Allah tests those He loves the most, He teaches us about resilience in hardship. Sometimes those invisible leashes are the very anchors that guide us back to growth, wisdom, and deeper understanding. Just as the Palestinians used to say, sometimes you need to navigate through the storm to appreciate the calm. As the wind whispers sweet nothings and the darkness breathes profound lessons, you realize each struggle serves a purpose, like a perfect plot twist in a long-winded tale. And who knows, perhaps what felt like an escape was really an invitation to learn. So, just as the moon bathes the trees in soft silver light and nocturnal creatures come out to play, take a deep breath, wrap those struggles around you like a cozy blanket, and face them with courage. After all, the next episode of your life is just waiting to unfold, filled with lessons, laughter, and perhaps a few more whimsical misadventures. If you enjoyed this little excursion into the mysterious woods of the human experience, don't forget to give us a thumbs up and share your thoughts in the comments. But only if you truly did find it delightful, of course.
Until next we meet, sleep well, dear soul, and remember, those invisible leashes might just guide you back home when you need it the most. Inshallah. In Chapter 25, The Dawn of a New Belief. Salam alaikum, dear seekers of sleep and slumber. Close your eyes and imagine yourself in the midst of a bustling bazaar, vibrant with colors and sounds, more chaotic than a cat chasing laser dots. Tonight, we delve into a period when the world felt as tumultuous as your Aunt Fatima's enormous family potlucks. Everyone packed in tight, sharing stories, whispers of hope, and sometimes a bit of drama, complete with a side of fried samosas. It's the late Mukkan period, around 620 to 622 CE, a time when the air crackled with anticipation, tension, and the tantalizing possibility of change. Now, let's get cozy. Grab a cushion, perhaps a snack, dates maybe, or a good old piece of baklava, and dim the lights. Can you feel the weight of history pressing gently around you? Picture a day in the life of a believer in Mecca. Would there be bartering over rugs? How many dates does it take to make your cousin think he's a superior merchant? There's snacks in the shade from the scorching sun? Imagine standing there. You see people, their faces bright with hope, or downcast with weariness, much like you after a long Monday at the office. The air is thick with an energy that feels almost electric, doesn't it? Vibrant conversations arc back and forth like a lively game of catch. And then, amidst all this chatter, as if on cue, like a shy child finally stepping into a circle of friends, a new group begins to emerge. This group, the believers, who come from all walks of life, are like a plant peeking out from winter soil, bursting with color and promise. Some are wealthy merchants, others humble workers, scholars, and those just looking to escape the suffocating norms of their world. So diverse, yet united by a single, shimmering thread of belief. Let's picture it together. As you wander through the alleys, you notice this group gathering near a small hill, the kind of place that's quieter than your noisy neighbors. Family barbecue. Just a few murmurs carried by the wind. You catch snippets of laughter, a sound that dances through the air like a butterfly dodging raindrops. Each face glows like a lantern, their hearts illuminated by new faith. Can you see it? It's heartwarming. This isn't just a group, dear traveler. It's a blossoming community where the air feels lighter, like a gentle breeze on a hot summer's day. Troubles loom over the horizon like clouds before a storm. Those who turn away from this new light seem to fade into the mist, moving along, searching for something. What could they be looking for? Did they forget where they parked their camels? Or maybe they're just avoiding Aunt Fatima after her famous ham. Oh wait, wrong time period. But look at the determination of these believers, the strength radiating from them as they stand rooted like palm trees weathering the winds of adversity. Imagine a moment. One of these seekers, let's call him Ahmad, stands tall, hope blooming in his heart. He thinks of the whispers he hears, dreams of a world transformed, teeming with compassion, justice, and perhaps an endless supply of sweet treats. The challenges they face, those are like the annoying weeds in your grandmother's garden. It requires effort, resilience, and a pinch of stubborn belief to navigate through this uncertainty. And isn't the human heart curious? Isn't it funny how we sometimes find meaning and strength in the strangest of places? Just as those Makkans cling to glimmers of hope, what burdens do you carry? Perhaps they're like a dozen bananas trying to balance on a little bicycle. Impossible. But here among the believers, every struggle seems to embrace the promise that redemption is near. Oh, how specular fate flips the pages of our stories. The joy and unwavering faith walk hand in hand, testing their mettle like a favorite pair of shoes pushed through the dirt of life. Each trial they encounter bears fruit, a chance to grow, to flourish amidst the chaos. So, dear listener, as you drift off, let the warmth of this tale wrap around you, much like a homemade blanket on a chilly night. The hidden meaning behind struggles, whether they're steeped in the sands of history or the mundane trials of daily life, becomes clearer like a moonlit night guiding lost souls home. Every question, every doubt serves a purpose, a gentle nudge from Allah, who, as the believers remind one another, tests those he loves most. As you surrender to the night, picture yourself standing among these pioneers of faith, breathing in their stories, embracing their light, and letting the sense of belonging wash over you. Like crescent moons glowing softly in the dark, remember, with every struggle comes the dawn. Inshallah, tomorrow brings new light, fresh possibilities, and perhaps even some new adventures. If tonight's journey through history brought you comfort, laughter, or a sprinkle of insight, do take a moment to like, subscribe, and share your thoughts below. But only if you genuinely enjoyed it, of course. Until our paths cross again, may your dreams be sweet and your struggles light. Sleep well, dear soul. And now, dear listener, as the final embers of tonight's journey fade softly into the darkness, let us rest for a moment in the lessons we have walked through. We have wandered Makkah's dusty streets, felt the sting of trial, heard the quiet tremble of hearts that refused to give up. We stood beside those who were mocked for their belief, who carried burdens heavier than heat of the desert day, who learned to smile through uncertainty and bow in peace through pain. Their days were not gentle. They were shaped by hunger, fear, and moments that felt like the world itself stood against them. Yet even then, they found room for laughter. A goat misbehaving, a missed step on the prayer mat, a shared date that split more hearts open than stomachs filled. Reminders that even in struggle, Allah leaves space for joy. How remarkable it is to realize that when we look back at the past, at their suffering and their strength, we also see reflections of ourselves. The people of that time stitched their resilience into the very fabric of faith, step by step, tear by tear, prayer by prayer. And we, with our soft beds, safe homes, warm blankets, and the gentle hum of a fan instead of desert winds, have so many comforts they never knew. Yet their courage reaches across centuries to hold our hands tonight. So breathe, slow. Let gratitude settle over you like night mist. Whatever test you carry now, it is not a punishment, it is refinement, a polishing of the soul, a sign that Allah has not forgotten you, but is drawing you nearer. Close your eyes, dear friend. Let your heart grow light. Rest deeply. Good night.